That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
final week before playoffs. My name is Mojo Powell. That over there is Fel, and we've got a fun match for you today. I know playoff dreams are alive and on the line. Playoffs are not entirely decided yet. But let's forget all that for a moment. Today, we've got 2-0-6 teams with us, Fel. What are we looking at?
We're looking at Divine Order Heaven's Gate versus Malevolent Rising, and just if you read the Into the Arena this week, you know that Malevolent Rising actually had like really high aspirations, and they were seeded as one of the top teams of the split before the season started, and for whatever reason, they just haven't gotten anything going. Divine Order Heaven Gate, same thing. They just they weren't seeded high, but you never expect to go 0-6, and you never expect to have barely any wins under your belt, like at all, and to basically go for Malevolent three weeks without a win, and 4 weeks for Divine. You're feeling kind of but this is the time at the end of the season. Maybe there's some teams that are on the cusp of the playoffs or about to just miss the playoffs that are going to need a certain piece or two, for next season. So this is the time for you to showcase and, get in there. Maybe you have like a pocket pick or something fun that you want to try. The teams hopefully are in good spirits and they're just like ready to just have fun with this one because that's really all it's for.
Yeah, absolutely. The stakes are about as low as they can be in the league, right? This is a match to build your confidence back up. And you're right, you're absolutely right to show teams, show the team you're on, show other teams like, hey, look, I'm worthy of a roster slot for next season. Like this season, whatever happened has happened, but like I am ready and willing to keep playing and good enough to compete. So, while the stakes are low, there is still absolutely reason to try your best and pressure to win. It would really, really be nice for either of these teams to end the season with a win. And just like that, we are jumping into draft. I have Malevolent Rising on blue side, Divine Order Heaven Gate on the red side. Smolder, our first man.
Yeah, and kind of akin to what you were saying, it is just that spot of it. Like you want to keep playing. You join these leagues for a reason. It's a lot of fun. Getting team building yourself. You can start out as a silver player, and by the end of playing this stuff, you just have a better idea of the macro of the game, like what goes into planning for teams and things like that, what it takes to be on a team. So the biggest thing here is to like we were saying earlier, get your mind right, get into the game, have fun, because that is the point. You're playing a video game, have fun and everything else. So we see the drafts are starting to round out the first round of bans, which is as you said, the Smolder. We also have the Neferi and Zinshao, so a couple jungle bands on the side of Rising, and then we have the Mel, Poppy, and Sivir up from Divine Order. So okay, the sides are wrong. It's actually Malevolent on red side, so you're seeing that opposite. And then we have Ashe as the first pick. Big prio pick. I'm surprised it wasn't a Jinx or anything like that, but and then the Ori is the answer on the red side, so it looks like they're going to try to get their solo lanes a little bit of agency here. And first pick.
Yeah, we'll see what comes through. I'm expecting junglers picked up pretty early. Yeah, there's the Wukong, one of the best champs in the league. Very consistent. One of the best champs in the game. To be completely honest, it works in pro play. It works here. Ashe has had a pretty has had a pretty high prio in this league. Sort of bot prio 80 carry, like can scale pretty well into the late game. Always useful even from behind. Lux now going to pick up that could be either mid or support. We've seen it more mid, I believe, this season. Pantheon.
Yeah, and I really like the Pantheon pick, along with the Lux and an Ashe. You just have so much crowd control, and what's understated a lot of the times is Ashe's ability to just slow and then to just dial in. She's one of those champions that, especially if you're building the on-hit, which I like a lot better. I know crit's better, but I really, really enjoy the on-hit. And the ability to just stand there and, just start just machine gunning everything at it.
Sure.
And with the Lux and a Pantheon, hopefully the spacing is really good with the 575, so really easy champ to pick up and then easy to kind of get good at as well. As we see the Melio band out, so they think that's a Lux mid, and the Seraphine. So we have two support bands, so you better hope if you're Malevolent Rising that,
Yeah.
Divine Order was going with the Lux mid here and not support as we do see the MF, as you and I were talking before the game about Muscle Mommy, and that we both have seen her in other leagues on the MF, and that's a very, very strong pick. I'm actually kind of surprised I didn't pick it in round 1.
Yeah, a little surprised with Yunara, also a power pick on the patch, so very strong AD carry, so should be fine picking that one up. Nautilus going to be the partner in the bot lane, which I love. We preach it all the time. I say it every week. We love go buttons. We love hard engage ultimate. They've got Wukong Nautilus. It's hard to imagine harder engage than that. They've got a really, really classic front to back comp. Now Ornn going to be the pickup for Linesy in the top lane, and we'll see Lulu going to round up the comp.
Okay. All right, I actually really like that. Lulu and Ashe is super strong, especially once you get to level 2. If you go with Lulu and you take the W and the E, the picks or whatever, double name abilities. But level 2 Ashe can really be very overwhelming. And especially if Nautilus goes and takes like a bad hook or something like that. So I really like the Lulu pick. I think it's going to be great along to sort of like stop the Wukong, keep everybody safe. And as the Pantheon goes in, as the Ornn goes in, you still have a lot of help for them as well. Lulu just really good enchant. They're very strong. And then the Ambessa on the backside. So we have a tale of a lot of crowd control and poke and wanting to sort of like keep your distance, as opposed to we want to go in. So this is going to be really interesting, and I think that there's going to be a lot put on Muscle Mommy's shoulders for her to really showcase her, her skills mechanically on this Yunara, because if everybody's going in, you're kind of left on the outside, and we see it a lot, especially in these leagues where, the IBSG or Platin Under leagues, where the ADCs sort of just sit on the outside. They don't get their auto attacks in, and usually it's whatever ADC is the one that's pumping out the most consistent damage is usually the one that wins the team fight. So this is going to be a good showcase for Muscle Mommy on the side of Malevolent Rising to really show what she can do on this champion that just got buffed.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be a fine line for Lord Draken to ride, right? Like, am I peeling? Am I going in? Am I following the dive buddies with Wukong and Ambessa? Am I standing back around the Yunara trying to protect from the Pantheon? The nice thing is that aside from the Pantheon, there is not much dive threat onto the Yunara herself, right? And Pantheon's kind of alone in that. I think actually, which could end up becoming an issue for Inazdog on Heaven's Gate, right? Where like, oh, Pantheon, like you really want to be going in. There's not really anyone to follow you up. You can get a Lulu ultimate, something like that, but may end up a bit caught out if Rising wants to stay back and peel. But we're looking at a team fight with these comps.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's two different ones. They both have the same go button, catch a Lux Binding, catch somebody going into a Death Brush, and either way, that person's probably dead. Even the Ornn, who's going to be building super tanky, like, that's a lot of damage on the side of Rising, and it's a lot of damage on the side of Divine Order. So I'm really excited to see this. I'm hoping for some good macro play. When teams are 0-6, they're usually 0-6 because they're either their team fighting is bad, they don't know how to close out with the lead, or they just make a lot of boneheaded mistakes. The support just walking into a tri-brush or trying to send 3 to 4 people to their death over a vision ward, stuff like that. So I'm hoping that both of these teams aren't doing that, and just want to see like the cleanest that they can play. Not that I want to see them play too passive, because they both have very aggressive comps, but I want to see them play to their comps.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that aggression will have to come from the jungle role, right? I think most of these matchups, aside from the bot lane matchup, somewhat pushing for Heaven's Gate, top lane probably a little pushing for Rising, but like not insane hard winning matchups. The action is going to have to come from these junglers, especially once they hit level 6. The threat that they have on side lanes is really potent. So I want to see them being the ones to drive the tempo of this game and start action around that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I want to see some good like outside the box thinking ganks from Vero here. I think that if he comes in, obviously he doesn't have hard CC like Pantheon does. Pantheon can just flash and W and just get on top of somebody and really make them pay for overstepping. Whereas Wukong, early on, clear speed is good, everything is fine. He can 1v1 just fine, especially if his clone is still up. But what I want to see is maybe coming from the underside of the brush instead of, straight through the lane. I want to see him coming from the backside of people, because he can get in there unseen a little bit with a little bit of an extra dash and a little bit of a head start on the play. Whereas with Inazdog, he needs to be aggressive. He needs to start this out. He needs to get one or two of these lanes ahead, and whichever team is flashless or whatever, I expect his shot caller on Doge to just go in and call it out. Be like, hey, they're flashless. We need to punish this. We need to go. We need to get somebody ahead. Ornn, even though he's tank, can dish out a ton of damage. Can scrap with Ambessa probably about as well as any other tank can, but it's very unassuming the damage that Ornn has, especially if you get caught up in his flames and get up against the wall or something. So I want to see aggressive action on the jungle. I wouldn't hate to see a strong invade or counter invade and then play off of that. Whatever lane needs him there, or whatever lane doesn't have any like escapability or summoners, I want to see him go in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we see it at every level of play, right? Game 5 of the World Championship started with like a level 3 Pantheon gank into a kill, into a complete snowball. And that's so possible here, even with an Ornn as your top laner, right? Like, you can get a level 3 gank off on Ambessa, especially like having an Ambessa main. This is one of those matchups where you feel as though, like, I don't need to take Flash into Ornn. Like, he's not really going to pressure me in lane. But if you don't take Flash in this top lane matchup, Pantheon is lashing on your head, right? So it's an easy, like, you look at the individual one-on-one matchup, you can go, I can go TP Ignite, that's fine. Oh, you need Flash, you're gonna die. Pantheon will level 3 gank you, will level 6 gank you, and that's what we want to see from a Nuzlocke, right? Like, if you are not at least even looking for these ganks, at least blowing a Flash, something like that early, you're behind.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's going to be the idea of this game, is how much early pressure can Pantheon get until he has to, like, Pantheon's one of those junglers, kind of like a Warwick, where he starts out being the aggressor, being the guy that wants to get to the lane first before the other jungler, get a kill quickly, and it's very easy to do, or at least blow summoners. And then towards the late game, he either has to be the backline dash or just another stun lock so that his ADC can, get in there and then just provide, sort of like a supportive environment. Whereas Vero, on the other hand, is somebody that's going to want to farm, going to want to get to 6, maybe get in there if they have good communication to catch somebody that's overstepped or, a little bit too far ahead, and then punish them that way. But he's going to have to be a little bit more smart about the way that he does it. And the intelligence game of these junglers, as you said, is the premier part of this matchup, I believe, as well. And as we get into Game 3 and the Summoner's Rift loads, or Game 1, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. We are on to Summoner's Rift. We will be watching out for these junglers, the way that they're pathing, the way that they are looking to gank. But this is anyone's game. Reminder that both of these teams are 0-6. A win at the end of the season would mean so much for team morale. And oh, look at that. We got a little all chat there. They're accepting the name. This is, in fact, the toilet bowl. Loser gets flushed. I like that a lot from Vero.
Yeah, it just shows that they have, some good friendly banter between the two of them. Like to see it. And as you called out, flashless on the top side. And here we go with the first initial invade. A little bit of a late invade, but we do have the 3v1 here. A Nozdog's going to come over here. And another thing to note is that, Ambessa without the flash, she does still have grasp. So anytime that he wants Bindsy wants to trade on this Ornn, she should be able to keep up her timer as well on the grasp, and it should be trade for trade for trade for trade. And then both of these top laners are going to be super duper healthy as far as that stack goes.
Yeah, for sure. It's a really easy lane to stack up grasp on Ambessa. It is going D shield, pretty typical start on Ambessa, but I do think, like, you want to be a touch aggressive with the Ignite pick, right? And I just don't think you're finding many kill angles onto Ornn in the early game, which is why I would have liked Flash here. But Ignite, not the worst. You just need to be aware of Pantheon and where he's pathing. And we can see that Pantheon is starting down on the bot side and will be pathing up as we expected. As Lord Draken hits a nice level 1 hook, is going to get stunned up, though. I actually want to say that it looks like we had a bit of a champ select issue. That is a Braum, not a Lulu.
That is a Braum. You know what? I didn't even remember that. I didn't see that. So yeah, a little bit of that. And one thing to note too with that late invade is that Ornn had to come to lane late. So Termac is actually going to have a lot of available aggression on this Ambessa if they choose to use it. And yeah, like, you may have kill pressure. If you're always half a level up, you wait for that level 3 spike, and all in, Ornn might not be expecting it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can at least get huge chunks. We see actually both junglers are pathing up towards the top side, although Inazdog may go for the level 3 gank we were talking about. He's here on the bot side with his winning
Right
bot
place.
lane matchup. Pantheon Braum so strong, flashing onto Muscle Mommy, gets the stun. Lord Draken, now the one caught out, will flash, hopefully to safety, has the Q. Only a short distance to the wall, but will it make it? Concussive Blow's not quite fully stacked, but that's 2 flashes blown just for the Pantheons. Huge win for Divine Order.
Yeah, but he's got to be wary that Vero doing a really, really good job, as we said before. The intelligence angle and tactics here, as soon as you see the Pantheon go bot side, go for his jungle. But Anazdog is not done here as he's coming into the mid lane.
No, he wants more action. We'll see if
Oh,
Tamar can get him. Oh, gets caught with the binding. First blood goes the Doctor. Crazy keeper the Lux there. Tamar didn't even flash.
No, I think that he thought he was going to be able to miss that binding or sidestep it or whatever. Is now Anazdog takes that away from him, and him and Vero are going to have a little bit to say to each other, but shouldn't be too much. But it does look like Ori with the teleport is going to be looking to invade Anazdog here in the jungle.
Yeah, we'll see. He's a little stuck here. Vero is not level 4 yet, so not a huge strength
Ooh.
gap, but reminder that Anazdog is flashless from those ganks. We see a solo kill in the top lane as Termac takes down Bindsy, and now Anazdog completely caught out. Will probably, yeah, goes down to the Ambessa as well. 2 kills, a huge amount of early acceleration for Termac, and Vero's going to grab another one of Anazdog's top side camps.
Yeah, and that's kind of the price you pay when you're going for those early ganks. They do pay off because they get both of the summoner spells on the bot lane, but no kills down there. I think Lord Draken actually did a really, really good job during that gank. We didn't get a chance to talk about it, where he just went south into the brush, like completely gave himself up, and instead of turning on him, the side of Divine Order just sort of kept going on to Muscle Mommy, and we're focusing her when the real target should have been him because he was basically dead to rights. But unfortunate turn of events for them is now Bindy is just Bindy is taking a ton of damage on this Ornn.
Yeah, and Anazdog is back. He refuses to farm any camps. He is here in the mid lane again. Now, Tomorrow didn't flash the first time. Oh, but gets hit with the root again. Will get stunned up. Has flash available. Will get the flash over the wall. Yeah, and Vero is here as well. Tomorrow hadn't flashed in the first gank. And I want to say that that first gank, even though it did get a kill in it Tomorrow, that gank was more of a bailout than getting an advantage. When we see the CS numbers again, Doctor's down like 20 CS in this mid lane.
Yeah, it's kind of rough. When you're trying to use Lux and poke and CS at the same time, it's a little harder. Auto attack damage isn't really that great. Whereas, Orianna with her passive, the Clockwork Windup or whatever it's called, you have a lot of actual auto attack damage. You get, yay, look at me. Extra 23 damage, just straight up magic damage is really
Oh, level 6 from Tomorrow forces the flash from Doctor with the command Shockwave there, and we'll get to push the lane in even more. Doctor's going to have to recall. It's going to be even more CS loss of Tomorrow. Big XP lead, big CS lead, pretty much neutralizing the 1 kill that Heaven's Gate has, right? Rising is off to a huge start. They're up 1k gold, and a lot of that is up in this top lane where we see Bindsy forced to recall again before Termac has gone back to base a single time.
Yeah, and what is it? It's like 10 on average, 9, 10 CS per kill gold differential. So
Yeah, something.
So
And
20
Ozdag,
CS up, you're actually ahead.
Ozdag is still here. Nice buffer from Draken on the Q, getting out to the tower. And Ozdag truly just refuses to farm camps. He wants action. This is what we said we wanted to see from him, but now is going to meet Vero in the river. Vero up a level on the Wukong, and Ozdag doesn't care. He is going in, charges with the empowered Q. Vero is out if he wants to be. Oh, doesn't quite dodge the root. Wow, and the final spark, so much damage. Doctor takes him down after hitting level 6.
Yeah, and if you're Tomorrow, you're like, come on, man. Like, I'm killing this Lux. Stop giving her kills. Like, I made a mistake. Stop making me pay for it afterwards. As, if you have a CS lead this high, but the Lux keeps getting kills, eventually she's going to hit, level 7, and she's going to have the wave clear where she's going to be able to one-shot the backline. So, if this was just straight up with no kills, Tomorrow would be so far ahead. But Vero is actually... keeping her in here, and as we just saw from Prod, she's actually up in gold, even though she's down 21 CS.
Yeah, and now just imagine when she catches a couple more waves, right? That lead could start to balloon, especially tomorrow. Still flashless, but they are looking to punish Bindsy
Upside.
even more. There it is. The public execution will land. Bindsy has flash, doesn't have much else. Will flash out. I think they still get this one. Ignite is down. Wukong is in, and the shockwave comes through tomorrow. Picks up the kill on the Orianna. Bindsy dead again and gonna miss another 1 to 2 waves off of this. So punishing the lead in the top side.
Yeah, but if you're Bonzi right now, you're just sitting there thinking, okay, don't come top anymore. Keep going bot, keep going mid, get Doctor ahead if you can. I mean, now that with that kill, she's going to be back up over on CS here. But I'll just be the Ornhorn guy. Basically just sit me down and focus on the rest of the map here if you can, as there's another invade coming in. And Doctor blows their ult thinking that they're on the grubs, but they're actually in the jungle waiting for you.
As we see big Tifa coming through. Another root comes through. Sorry, DC'd for a second there, just as coming back as Dog flashes and dies. They just live in this jungle, and Shannon Crystal are not going to find anyone.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, even if it did, it probably wouldn't have gotten anything. It may have been fired before Dog fell. As we see Doctor flashless, trying to get out. Draken flashes in, though. Not sure if they have the damage without the shockwave, though. Oh, tomorrow will fall to the E at the last second. Probably didn't see it on the ground there. Tanks a heated up tower shot, and Doctor gets the punish on the tomorrow. Now, Muscle Mommy in the 1v2 is level 6. Should be able to escape this pretty easily, but an overstep in the mid lane for Malevolent Rising after what was a really, really strong tempo play in the jungle. Now, they will get grubs from Vero on the Wukong up there as Drake just barely misses the Q. I don't even know if he kills if he hits that Q.
He's got no ignite there. He's probably lucky that he doesn't hit that. And that's another thing too, is Lord Drake in there gets a good flash hook onto Doctor, but doesn't take the turret aggro. Took 2 shots and then just allowed Tomorrow to just get completely just bleh from that. And Draken going in again.
Oh, hits another one, but the shockwave gets blocked by the Pantheon. E takes the heated up tower shots, will fall to the spear from Pantheon. Draken way too aggressive here in the mid lane. But Wukong got grubs during all of that mid pressure, so not a complete waste of time. Team still up close to 1.5K gold. And again, so much of that is here in the top side of the map. This Mbessa is running the game 2-0 and 2 up 25-ish CS.
Yeah, and this might be their saving grace, because with Lord Draken just being a little bit too over aggressive, he could be throwing this game over to Divine Order. But another thing too, what I was saying earlier with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, if the support is roaming and you have Braum Ash, you want that Crystal Arrow in your pocket to basically kill this Yunara every time that she shows her face in lane. They don't get that, as Bindsy's going to miss his ult here. And
yeah, Call of the Force God does not connect. Pantheon has no flash. There's no way you were getting onto this Mbessa, especially once that missed the knockup as well. No harm, no foul from Inazdog, but the ultimate down for Bindsy makes it just even more killable in the 1v1, right? I think as soon as Pantheon recalls, if you land a public execution onto this Ornn, he probably just dies with Ignite. We'll see. Walking into the jungle.
Yeah, I was going to say, especially since he doesn't really have any items yet. He's got no tankiness. Yeah. He's got a Bami Cinder, which is one of the least efficient health items that you can get. Yes, it does help with the wave clear, and it's absolutely necessary. But as far as the 1v1, that's why you pick Braum.
Wukong is here as they land a root onto Zuino, but she will be able to back off. Doctor taking some punishment in this mid lane, still down almost 30 CS now to Tomorrow. Just a complete lane lead from Tomorrow, right? Like, it got ganked by Draken, but it was ineffective for Tomorrow. Shockwave will come out to respond to the final spark, but so much damage. Ooh, the spear just barely doesn't connect. Tomorrow does have flash. Will dodge out on the Q on his own. Does a lot of damage. Doctor, flashes into the jungle, but he's getting teleported on. This is Bindsy teleporting in with the Ornn.
He's going to get jumped on there, and then Osmond's
it's just a matter of when.
Yeah. Sorry, you got DC'd again. Really good heads-up play from Bindsy there. That's a way to, support your team, even though you're going to be losing CS in the top lane. You're not going to be getting anything out of this. And Mbessa looking for the re-address there. Isn't going to find anything, but, teleport timers are important, and that just showcases why.
Yeah, and the TP advantage is now to the Mbessas. We see the Death Charge coming through here onto the Great Bigsby, but Has Flash, has Ghost, should be able to get out of there just fine. Firing back now with the Glacial Fissure. The Pantheon is here, though. Grand Starfall in. Lord Draken is just dead. Overextension from Malevolent Rising when their jungler was a bit too far to punish. And Nuzlocke gets a kill, and now they're going to grab a second Drake for themselves. Divine Order Heaven's Gate evened up the gold lead pretty much, and up 2 dragons to none now. They're coming out to a lead.
Yeah, and for them, unfortunately, if you look at the side of Divine Order, you have an Ornn up top. He's going to be able to tank and clear waves. You're not going to be able to get much use out of those 3 grubs that you got there. Orianna is not going to be able to shove towers down when you have a Lux just, eating into the backline and getting whatever they want. So the 2 dragons is absolutely huge right now, but as you and I discuss almost every week on here, it's not about the first 2, it's about the last 2. So if the next 3-4 dragons end up going the way of Malevolent Rising, then that will show like kind of how this game really was going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now that's an arrow that you want. Unfortunately, Doctor was not in position.
Yeah, it didn't feel safe going into punish on that. Mbessa is here, was spotted on Vision coming up. Draken spotted on Vision walking up the river as well. So Doctor felt maybe not quite capable of walking up and taking the kill into tomorrow's. The mid laners traded their ults. Enchanted Crystal Arrow down, but honestly, this was a good look. This was a real play here. That's a decent arrow. We like seeing that one. As Vero and Termac truly just live in the topside jungle of an Ozdog. He will never get these camps.
No, and that's going to put him way behind. I mean, that's 100. I mean, if you think about it, it's like about 150 gold per side camp if you're not counting the blue buff, but that's also 150 gold going the other way. So it's actually a 300 gold swing in the end of it. So an Ozdog's going to have to start going over to the blue side of Vero. He knows that Vero is over on this top side. That's their winning lane and condition right now. So they really need to start, prioritizing that, as Vero is here to turn this around.
Yeah, we'll see if he wants to use the Cyclone. Not using, yeah, Nuzlocke will get the stun onto Vero. Not doing a lot of damage, though. Wukong coming out much heavier in the trade. And Nuzlocke going to be forced to recall here, presumably. And Vero can get even more, although there aren't no camps up. Now, Braum is here. Glacial Fissure down. Concussive Blow stacked up. The final spark just misses, though. Oh, Nuzlocke flashes in, gets the Eclipse proc on a killing spree. Takes down the Monkey. Tomorrow now in a 1v3 situation has his ultimate back, so actually could potentially win that 1v1 with Draken walking up. Heaven's Gate going to back off with their kill.
Yeah, and that was a really good heads up play by Zueño on this Braum. Like, to just be there. Wukong has to be sitting there thinking to himself, why is he here right now? He should be bot lane with his Ashe, but does a really good job of recognizing the pattern that Malevolent is in, where instead of doing lane pressure, they're all over this jungler, and if you're getting caught, you're going to have to start thinking twice about stealing these camps if you are Vero on this Wukong.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if that's going to be the kind of response, then you really have to chill out and look for these team plays. You see, the Herald is spawned on the top side of the map. Both teams are here to contest it now. Only one support is up here, though. Zuino is here on the Braum, which means Ashe is down there by her lonesome with no flash. Actually, yeah, getting towered over and taken down. Yeah, it takes one back in the form of Draken, which is nice, but still going to be pretty punishing when she starts missing some waves. But the fight is going the side of Heaven's Gate up here. They know they have the man advantage. They grab the kill onto the Mbessa. That's a shutdown going over to a Ozdog. They're going to get the Herald as well. So Heaven's Gate winning out over the map, even in the cross-map situations. We're going to get a replay of the bot play.
Yeah, and as we see here, just everything blown right away on top of this tower. And good job by Bigsby to just wait for the Nautilus to be in his face and taking a turret aggro before launching the enchanted crystal arrow there. And then there's nowhere for him to go, but actually almost gets a kill.
Yeah.
That was one tower shot less. And then, yeah, the Lux binding, catching people out is just so punishing in here, especially without any tenacity on this Ambessa. So good job from Divine Order Heaven's Gate to just pick up, a couple kills as they can get them. Bot turret does fall down first to Malevolent Rising, so they're going to claim the feats, even though I think the monsters would have ended up going over to Heaven's Gate, but, you get your advantages where you can. And both of these teams are doing a decent job so far of catching the overextensions and making the other team pay as much as they can.
Yeah, absolutely. They've both been able to punish on these kinds of things. And that was absolutely a punish, right? Mbessa way too far up, starting the objective before the rest of her team was there.
They
And
have
now they're looking for
Pantheon ult on
another
top of this
catch. Yeah,
too.
Call of the Forge God connects. Grand Starfall is coming in. Oh, and it's right on Mbessa's face. Public Execution, though, might get her out. That's a nice buffer. Gets a couple of dashes, doesn't even need the flash. E out, Enchanted Crystal Arrow will whiff, and Termac gets out 1 ult for 2. We take those as a trade on Mbessa.
Oh yeah, 100%. And unfortunately for Bindsy, I think he got his ankles broken a little bit there, but they're not done. They're going to try to do this dive here. That's a pretty beefy Ambessa though.
Yeah, they're going back in. They still can't get her, though. Shields up with the Eclipse and with the W. There's nothing they can do. They don't have enough damage. That's a nice regank. I respect the dive attempt, but
Oh, here
once
comes
again, they
another
cannot get
one.
her. Oh, God. And
Going
Nozdog
in
is
again.
has the Herald if he wants to do something.
Ooh.
Oh, cancels the back with the Q. It just barely doesn't kill, but you got to imagine Termac dies this time. Might try and, like, go in on the Ornn or something, try and get something done, but there is just no way you were living the situation. W shield quite large, though, with the Eclipse as well binds. He almost burns down to the Ignite, but will live. They take down Termac at the top side, but the cross map play coming through from Malevolent Rising. Vero takes a lot of damage, but this dragon is pretty solidly theirs. There's not going to be any kind of more contest from Doctor. Will throw the E over the wall, gets smited down. Red side takes their first dragon.
Yeah, and that's kind of the price you pay when you take 3 times to dive a champion. If there's not a cross map play being made, everybody on this team should be fired, right? Like that's
Yeah.
it's kind of what you say to yourself, like, okay, they just spent all this time. So also the fact that Termac almost killed the Ornn too, so could have made that a huge advantage and tempo play for themselves, but unfortunately, the 3 dives from a pretty fed Pantheon and a very annoying Ornn is just going to be too much for anybody to do.
Yeah, Termac tried his best. Really, not much more to be done in that situation. Maybe could have eked out a little bit more damage, but on the whole, I would consider this a win for Malevolent Rising, especially considering they were down 2 Drakes to none before this play. Right now, up or still down a Drake, but has 1 in their pocket. Really evens out the sort of timing of this game. Right, takes that pressure off of them as Muscle Mommy. Backing off the mid lane.
There
Chanticleer
we
arrow.
go.
Oh, will connect. She kited into it. Pops the barrier. Will flash out as well as the Nozdog is in there. Charges with the power Q. Will not land. Muscle Mommy is out, but that's both summoners blown and the flash from Lord Drake. And we'll see if they want to keep the fight going, though. Vero and Termac are here.
Don't take it. Ooh,
Oh, and Nozdog popped into the Herald and is taking it. He's going to grab the tower, but at what cost? Oh, jumps in on Muscle Mommy. Not going to be able to find the kill just yet. Grabs it with the empowered Q, though. 1-for-1 is the trade for the Pantheon. Gets shut down by the Wukong at the end of the play, but you'll take that for Divine Order. That was a really risky
100%.
Herald play. He made it work.
Yeah, and I was saying kind of over you is like, don't take it, but he does. But he ends up, wait, when she has no flash and she has no barrier, on this Yunara, then screw it. You might as well go for it. There's nothing to really lose in that situation now. As Bixby might be a little caught out here. He's gonna blow the flash without any follow up. But yeah, if you're gonna make that play and you get the kill, you could say, okay, worth, right? We got the tower. I ended up killing Muscle Mommy, and got at least a little bit of extra gold for myself. One thing that I would like to note is I want to see more out of Bigsby here is these enchanted crystal arrows that are going diagonal on the map. Stop doing that. Keep it parallel. Keep it going up the lane and on target or into a funneled area, because she's 2 for 2, or he's 2 for 2 on the arrows that he sent up lane, and he's 0 for 2 on arrows that he sent elsewhere.
Yeah, but at the end of the play, we saw 2 flashes blown on Bigsby and on Doctor, both by Vero and Draken and their power. Vero then got a nice invade, stole a lot of camps, and they're looking for play on the Bindsy. I don't think they have the damage to catch the Orange. Just going to dash out like 3 times. Doesn't need the flash. Will escape safe in the side lane to farm up under the tower. Now, Muscle Mommy getting some farm in the mid lane, but here's the cross map play. They spotted Wukong and Orianna on that bot side. Orianna has TP, but Divine Order is starting up the Otacon. They're not taking it particularly fast yet. Termac has spotted them out. We'll see if the contest comes through. Yeah, TP in from Orianna. They're going to get here potentially just after the Otacon falls, but they can look to win the fight after. Ultimate is on for the Yunara, but gonna have to back off from the Ornn teleport. Tomorrow is here. Oh, the Shockwave whiffs just a little bit wide. Smite does claim the Otacon at the end of the play, but they are all falling. Termac does so much damage on the Abessa. Het gets hit by the final spark, but will live. That is 3 for nothing to Rising. They got the Otacon, but they're losing the game for it. They're going to lose top tier 1 as well. Oh, hook just wide for Lord Drake, and that would have been another kill if they wanted it. We'll see if they continue the play. They're pushing in further into topside. Not going to be able to get much more. I don't know if they can get the tier 2 off of this. We'll see. Yeah, not enough of a minion wave, unfortunately. Zuino and Doctor will be able to defend it, but they're going to get the tier 1 in mid lane, tier 1 in top lane, and 3 kills in exchange for the Otacon. The gold lead explodes for Malevolent.
Yeah, that's a lot of gold. They do end up getting back into the lead here, and now it's just over 2K. But that's a lot of stats on the Otacon, a lot of flowers that weren't picked up. So, you could say either way is
the Enchanted Crystal Arrow combines with the Grand Starfall, and they grab a cute little kill. Backing on a ward. Tomorrow thought he was safe, and it was not. And Ozdog will walk out scot-free as well. Actually going to stun up Vero. Vero will be able to escape the Wukong clone, but a nice pick at the end.
Yeah, and that's just, you're on vision. It's unfortunate, but good heads up play by Bigsby and Ozdog to be on the same page to say, hey, I'm gonna ult this, ult in as well. Either way, my Crystal Arrow is either gonna make her stop, or that as a team fight's going in here is the Wukong, the public execution.
Oh yeah, public execution right into the backside, combining with the Cyclone. Abessa does fall though. Lux dealing a lot of damage, and Ozdog doing a really good job of defending, but we'll see, can Muscle Mommy do it by herself? No, she can't. Knocked up by the call. The Forge got stunned up by the Braum. It is Lord Drake in a 1v4. Nautilus does not win those. Doctor picks up another, and it's a 4-for-1 trade for Divine Order. Tomorrow is here and wants to just, but gets immediately caught by the Lux Q. Lands a Shockwave, but it doesn't deal any damage. Blocked again by a Ozdog's E. Bindsy now over the wall, just trying to zone Tomorrow off. Tomorrow going to have to recall. Doesn't want to get caught by that final spark. Tried to contest, lost his flash, didn't get anything. A third Drake, the Divine Order.
Yeah, that's just a really, really bad time to get caught in between there. They did take what they wanted to off of that, but that was the fight that they wanted, but Divine Order was just kind of there, and they were just in better position, and the Wukong getting into the backline, Tomorrow wasn't there yet, so they were doing that fight without their Orianna. I think they just pulled the go button a little bit too quickly. If they could have maybe waited that out and skirmished for a little bit and gotten the Divine Order to come more towards them, I think that play could have gone their way, but you can't go 4v5 into this comp with the way that it's constructed.
Yeah, a little hasty on the engage, and especially with Braum there, this Ashe is really quite safe in the backline, and the way Ozdog played to protect the Ashe as opposed to dive further in. As you see, they are really desperate for a kill at this point. They are going to pick up one of the Braum. Nice shutdown over to the Wukong. Tomorrow tanks up 2 tower shots, will get out alive. Use the Nautilus ultimate for it. But that's about it. We'll take a free kill in the mid wave. Baron is on the map. If they want to start it, they will melt it down with this Yunara. But they're going to stand in the jungle and maybe look to get a pick instead. Over on a Doctor. Whoa, the Shockwave comes through and they blow up the Lux. Vero grabs one on the backside. Ult the second half of the cycle and onto a Ozdog who is jumping in though. Stuns up Tomorrow, flashes out. Enchanted Arrow lands on a Tomorrow. Taken quite low, but the not charged up from Pantheon, not empowered. Bigsby is here, slows them. Wow, and an Ozdog on a rampage. Claims one onto the Orianna with the empowered Q this time. Vero going back in as opposed to out over the wall. Double kill to the Pantheon. Now the public execution is here. Abessa will pick up 2 at the end of the fight. Clean it up, but getting a little messy for Malevolent Rising. They want to take this Baron. Their jungler is down, but so is the Pantheon, and they should be able to get it.
Yeah, the only thing that's here is the Ornn and the Braum. Probably not going to be able to stop. I mean, they probably would be able to stop it if they go up there, but they should actually be able to 2v3 this with as much damage as they're taking here.
Baron down to half. They're really not dealing enough damage to this Baron, and they are not tanky enough. Yeah, it's melting them. They can't keep it leashed themselves because there's no one to come and finish it off. But just walking, they didn't even have to expend any ultimates. They just stop it by themselves. Yeah, nice sweeper from Bynes. He doesn't want to commit, though. He's afraid of the Wukong's presence, and Lux did not walk up. But they stopped the Baron, stopped the bleeding. They're still up 3 dragons to 1. So 2 minutes and 30 seconds fell. That's when we're gonna see a big 5-on-5.
Yeah, you can hope so, as long as nobody gets caught out again. And if Bigsby stops throwing these blind cristed arrows so that they're up during the fights, every time that he has it up, they're winning these fights. But every time that he's blowing it into the fog of war and trying to get like a cute pick play or something like that, and it's just down, like it's so easy to get caught out here. As I say that, Doctor caught out by Vero.
Yeah, speaking of, Vero is here. First half of the Cyclone connect. Second half, we'll find 3, and Vero healing up the backside will fall at the end, but Termac is ripping them apart on the Ambessa, and Nazdog ignited and running for the hills. Shockwave lands onto the Ornn. Binds the unstoppable, but will fall anyway. Double kill somehow to the Nautilus, but Malevolent Rising grabs 4, and they're going to grab the Baron.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no blue ward on this Pantheon, so he's going to have to either take a leap of faith. Oh, there is a blue ward. There is a ward there. So he is going to see this. He is going to be able to jump in with the Grand Starfall and potentially steal this Baron. This is going to be a huge hero play if he pulls this off.
He gets in there. He was getting chased down by the Ambessa. He is now in the pit, and they don't have smite. Oh, but they grab it anyway. He smites too early, and Muscle Mommy saves the day.
Oh, that was almost the hero play we were all rooting for there. Really, really good try, Nazdog. But when your life is flashing before your eyes, you hit the smite in hopes and just ended up missing it by, it looked like about 1400 when the Baron got smited. So a little bit less than 200 health left on that Baron for Muscle Mama to pick up on the Yunara. And now that's 4, I believe 5 champions, because Wukong had already resurrected by the time that the Baron was taken. So now that's a 5-man Baron play. They're going to be able to push all 3 waves at the same time, and there's a lot of pick potential on the side of Divine Order, but I don't know if they're going to be able to catch anyone out and be able to kill them at the same time.
Yeah, it would require some serious overextension from Malevolent. So Mami going to be careful not to do. The Dragon is up in 20 seconds. Pantheon is back out on the map. They might try to contest, but if Malevolent plays this Baron well, they really shouldn't be able to without losing tons and tons of pressure on the map. These mid and bot waves getting pushed in. They have complete control of this bot side jungle and complete control and vision of the Dragon. But Draken walks up. Wow, he can just tank the Lux ult like that. Actually didn't take a single point of damage.
Yeah, and that's just with the Locket and with the Nautilus W. So he's actually pretty tanky. We see a lot of the times with these Nautilus supports or Amumu supports and stuff just like fall down like really, really quickly. But he's itemized very well, and he's actually gotten a couple kills, and so he's in there on the gold. I would like to, I was gonna say I would like to see them just kind of give this Dragon away. They're still up 3-2, and they got the top tier 1, and they're about to potentially lose the top tier 2 while they have it's a little bit too close. Okay, but when you have Baron and you lose more turrets than you gain, that's never a good sign.
Bindsy won't be able to grab it. DC does start talking. Yeah, Bindsy can't grab that one. The issue here, like, I completely agree, giving away the Dragon is totally fine to do for Divine Order, but the worry now is letting the gold lead explode too far open for Malevolent that you can't contest any of the next Dragons, right? So getting that tower is huge. Weren't able to get the second one, we'll see. And Nazdog walked up a bit to the bot wave, not fully caught out though. Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Yeah, going wide. But no harm, no foul. That Ash ult is on a very, very low cooldown now. It should be back up soon. Over, and Nazdog walks up outside of tower range. Gets out with the empowered E. We'll see Vero's still here in the bush. Has the Cyclone if they want to go in. They're going to go in on the Ambessa, though. Grab the W in, but Ambessa can just dash out of these. We already used the arrow. There is no follow-up here, but there is in the mid lane. Draken grabs another one, gives it over to Muscle Mommy. Horn is down. Grand Starfall here as well. They'll connect onto the Yunara, but they are nowhere near her. She flashed out already. Bigsby here now as well. Doesn't look like there's much more to get. They will grab Draken on the way out.
Ooh.
Slow on the Muscle Mommy though. Yeah, the Braum Q connected. Concussive blows stack up. Another kill over to Bigsby, but they lose the top tier 2 and bot tier 2 in the process. The gold swing honestly probably still favors Rising, but that's a couple Barons down.
Yeah, a couple Barons down and a couple kills back, and a little bit of money in the pocket of your carries. Bigsby got one of those kills as well. So Ambessa's sitting here with 1850 in in her bank right now. She's going to go back and spend that now. So that's going to just
up
be
like
even
40.
more of a pain for Divine Orders to deal with, as Vero is still saying, "This is my jungle, homie. Get out." But
Yeah.
is pushed out another bad crystal arrow coming through on Bigsby. Somebody needs to tape his pointer finger to his middle finger so that he can't hit that R anymore until the team fight's about to break out.
Yeah, I would like to see it saved for the team fights. Luckily, there shouldn't be one until the arrow is back up. Baron should be spawning in about 2 minutes. Dragon at 2:30. They will overlap unless the Baron is started on spawn. But the nice thing for Malevolent is that they are up 5k gold. Most of that, to be fair, is on the Ambessa, who is up about 4k herself, right? The rest of the team fight fairly even in terms of gold, but Termac just does so much damage, is landing these public executions like really, really consistently in the back line and shredding them apart. As we see, they are taking over control of this topside river. Baron's still not going to spawn for another minute and a half, so it's a bit early for the first contest. I think you're fine if you're Divine Order to push out one more wave and then try and recontest, but they will not have mid pryos. All of Malevolent is stacked up here.
Yeah, and since you don't have the mid pro, I would really like to see one of these champions with the teleport on that bot side take that free tier 1 gold. I mean, you're missing so much collected gold basically on towers alone. There's what, 3 4 standing towers or 3 standing towers extra, and that's 3k of the gold. And if Ambessa is 4k gold ahead and your team is only 5k gold ahead, then the rest of Divine Order should be able to fight with this as a team fight breaks out now.
Yeah, speaking of it, the shockwave goes a little wide. No one did yet. Muscle Mommy takes a huge chunk from the final spark, and Vero's in there. Lands a Cyclone on a 4, but Bigsby does the damage, gets it back. Because it blows onto Drake and almost stacked up. But here's Termac. This Ambessa is so strong. Grabs a kill into the Ash, but rooted up CC for forever. Gonna get shut down by the Pantheon, and Nas Dog grabs another. Finds he wants to go in. Oh, Doctor lands the Q on it tomorrow. Doesn't have the ultimate to follow it up, but good amount of damage. There's the ultimate, just barely wide in the tri-brush. We'll be back up another like 20 seconds or something. Really, really low cooldown on that. That's a team fight win for Divine Order, though. Vero went in just a touch too early. Doctor trying to push the lead. Might not get it tomorrow. Does still do a lot of damage on this Orianna. Oh, Drake and Blast going over the wall. Misses the Q, but stuns up a Nazdog. Muscle Miami grabs another one, and they're going to follow it up. They're going to try and chase on Doctor if they can. That is Doctor's third ultimate of this fight. This ability is so absurd.
Yeah, and I really love that, the idea behind Divine Order there is to just kind of keep catching, but it just seems like every time that they're catching somebody, the rest of the team is just like not at that point of aggression. So really good job on Doctor on this Lux. I think they've hit a lot of key bindings that should have turned into a lot of kills. Unfortunately, this Ambessa was just way too much for them to deal with. As we saw Bigsby in this last one, if the public execution lands onto Bigsby, they're just dead. Like that's an apt name for it, because every time that hits into the backline, that's at least a dead Ashe or a dead Lux, and that's half of the damage from the side of Divine Order going down. Is now we're about to get the next team fight over on Dragon. We do have the Grand Starfall from Pantheon. Let's see how it shakes out.
Yeah, he'll be able to get here, but the issue with the Nuzlocke dying at the end of that fight means that he is not here for the start up of this Drake. Grand Starfall is about to come in with the Orin Horn as well. Public execution is into the backside, though. Bigsby is already down. The Ambessa is tearing them apart. Zuino trying his best to peel. It will not work. And Nuzlocke at the backside, though, grabs a bunch of Lux, claims the Dragon with the final spark. Double kill to the Pantheon. He's just healing up with the Sunder Sky. But is Termac too strong? I think he is. Lands a Q, lands another one. Oh, stunned up with the Pantheon, though. No, it's the Pantheon at the end of the day that has the strength, has the kills. They ace Malevolent Rising. They steal the Dragon, and they might just run away with this game.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. Pantheon falls off at the end, right? Unless it's 36 minutes and you guys are fighting for your life in this game, and he still hasn't had a chance to do that. So really, really well done. Termac now, I think when Bigsby is on there, he may want to start targeting the Lux or somebody else, maybe the Pantheon, because Bigsby not being able to get the damage out doesn't seem to matter anymore. This is a 4-item Pantheon who's about to get another with the Vamp Scepter. I don't know what he's building that into, but he's almost full build now, and he is absolutely terrorizing Muscle Mommy on this Pantheon. So really, really good play. Good job. Even though he died at a really inopportune time and had to Grand Starfall into that fight, did so much work on this Pantheon to just make that happen, as they're going to claim the Baron as well. And now that's a huge swing their way, and they're only down 1,000 gold with 3 turrets still to pick up on the map.
Yeah, and it'll be so easy to grab those with this Baron play. They're going to even up that gold lead pretty quickly, and they do have Ocean Soul going their way as well, which tends to be about a 5,000 gold advantage for themselves, something of that kind of
And the
Zero.
Otacon.
Yeah, and the Otacon, right? I forgot they were the ones who got the Otacon as well. So Divine Order actually sitting quite pretty, and that fight was just so split up, right? It was just a really unfortunate thing of like Ambessa diving in and Wukong diving in. Wow, the Pantheon got more done on the dive, right? This Braum, I want to shout out Zuino, has been really, really effective at peeling for the team and just shutting the Ambessa down, right? Even if Ambessa gets a kill, it's a 1-for-1 trade, which is not what you want. Your top laner for the enemy AD carry at this point in the game is just not worth it, where Bindsy is making so much space and Nazdog is grabbing like 2 or 3 kills before he honestly doesn't fall most of the time with Sundered Sky and the rest of those tanky sort of items coming through, right? So we see Termac may be able to push a bit of a side lane advantage, but he's actually down XP to Bindsy at this point in the game. Has not quite 4 items completed, and honestly just can't really do anything to the Ornn on side wave, especially with Baron. So he's going to move up, try and look for the fight. Bindsy will grab this bot. Tier 1 doesn't have teleport.
Double flank here.
Yeah, we see they're backing off, though. They know the Ambessa's coming up. They say, hey, we'll grab the bot Tier 1. No problem. Does Termac want to go in? Dodges away from the queue.
Ooh.
Yeah, public execution in, but he is way too far away from the rest of his team. There's just no follow-up. Termac goes in with a public execution, but the only person dying is himself. There it is. Glacial Fissure after the Braum gets a lot done. Oh, Shockwave on the 3 from Tomorrow might just do something if Muscle Mommy can clean up after it, but this Pantheon is just ripping the team apart. Stun on a Muscle Mommy as well. Bindsy is here. They're gonna grab another kill. It's the same 3 members for Divine Order every single fight, and Nazdog is carrying this team.
Yeah, and that was a really, really good job by the Ori to sort of disengage that. I would have loved to have seen them say, hey, we don't have this fight because Ambessa, unfortunately, public executed into the back, got the kill. Oh, wait, didn't even get the kill. You have to be more aware of your team surrounding, not just them, when you're going in on champions like this. And so a little bit of over-aggression here from Termac, who has played for the first 35 minutes of this game decently well on this Ambessa and has been carrying this team. But now, when you go in alone up against 4, especially your Braum, like, it's really, really hard to get out. So just temper the aggression a little bit. The game is still not over. You're still really strong. They can still kill these members of Divine Order pretty easily, except for maybe the Pantheon and the Ornn. So just got to take a step back, take a breath, and say, okay, we don't need to be uber aggressive the entire time.
Yeah, it's signs of desperation from Malevolent Rising, right? They felt like they were in such control of the game at a point when they had the Baron themselves, when they were picking up those dragons and coming back in that way. They felt like they had control. They felt like they were in the driver's seat. And at this point, they most definitely are not. Down about 2,000 or so gold and Dragon Soul. Elder spawning in about a minute and a half. And this will presumably be the final team fight of the game. I would imagine whichever team gets Elder might be able to close it out, unless it's a really messy, like, 5-4 kind of situation, which it absolutely could be, Phil. That's the kind of thing that we see, especially down here, the 0-6 match, the toilet bowls, the players were calling it. But I think Muscle Mommy, who is stunned up, hit by the final spark, takes so much damage and falls to the Grand Starfall itself. The spear from the Pantheon Ultimate picking up the kill. Vero has to flash over the wall to get out. Grabbing a couple honey fruit on the way, and Nazdog feels very confident to just walk into this bush. Rooted up, takes about half his HP of damage, and it doesn't matter. At best, a public execution into the front line. A good shockwave from Tomorrow, though. They're starting to pick up the kills. It may be a real overextension this time, as the Nazdog has fallen. Bindsy on a killing spree, so unkillable on this Ornn. But the Ambessa is alive, is in the backline. Doctor forced to kite back. Zuino taking a lot of damage. Bindsy taking absolutely none. This Ornn is a menace for them, but Ambessa should be able to tear him up eventually. Termac, though, dead set on going in on this Lux. They've got Ocean Soul. They just keep healing up. I think they might win this one if they keep going. Lord Draken finally grabs a hook. Nice flash QW from Tomorrow. They're going to pick up the Lux just before the final spark comes back. They will eventually take down the Ornn as well, just as the Elder Dragon spawns. Although I may eat my words, Bindsy may just get out, healing up the Ocean Soul. I think they're going to say, hey, ignore this Ornn. Let's go grab the Elder Dragon. What a heck of a team fight.
Uh-oh,
Susie
tomorrow?
Bindsy. Yeah, dashing in tomorrow, maybe a little overextended here. Might not have the damage to really chew through the Ornn as they've stopped the Elder Dragon whatsoever. They stopped leashing it. They felt like they had to kill the Ornn. Now Ornn dead for an entire minute. They should be able to start this up. They have teleports on both Orianna and Mbessa. If they want to start, Hawkshot spots it out that they have not started it yet, and Ozdog is here almost as the Sterak's back up off cooldown. So tanky now with that unending despair as well. If they start it now, it's still not a 5v5 team fight, though. Bindsy is dead. Lord Draken gonna walk into the pit, clear up some of the vision, and Ozdog aggroes the dragon from over the wall. Scuttle will go to the side of Malevolent with a smite from Vero. They have to be careful about using that smite. Yeah, they're really hesitant to commit. They don't know if they win the team fight or not, so they're just gonna back off, look to get mid push. Fell, it's so tense.
It is, and this is just coming off of this next fight will start off by one enchanted crystal arrow that hits somebody out, and then followed up with a Luxel to, finish it off. So they have to be very, very careful if you are Malevolent Rising, but you also can't be too timid. You can't wait for Bindsy to get into a good position as he's teleporting into this fight. So this Elder Drake now, as we've seen, for the most part, the team fights have gone the way of Divine Order. So would really, really like to see them. I would have really liked to have seen Malevolent Rising kind of go for that earlier as the, Ash.
Chichico Solera lands on it tomorrow. Will get the Zonias, and Mbessa is now in the backside. Landed the public execution, but taken a little bit low. Ooh, Cyclone in onto 3 from Vero. He's in the backside, but he can't get anything done. There's just no follow-up damage. He's gonna fall down into the GA. Shockwave only lands on the Braum support. That's not enough targets, and here comes the Pantheon tomorrow, taken so low. Wukong down. Orianna down, Yunara down as well, and the whole team's gonna fall to the final. Spark puts the nail in the coffin. Divine Order, Heaven's Gate are going to win the game at last.
Oh my god, and like of all the times that I said something about Bigsby and his arrows, he finally gets it inside of a corridor, lands onto the Ori, forces the Zonias, because when Doctor uses the Grand Spark, like that's it. Like if you don't Zonias there, you're just gonna die to the Storm Surge. So really, really good trigger pull there by Divine Order. They get their 3rd win of the season. I really, really liked the Ashe Lux synergy that they had there. Like towards the end of the game, when one hit, the other hit, and so it was just one after the other. And as you were saying earlier in the game, we cannot say enough about Ozdog's performance here on the Pantheon to not just get into the backline and disrupt, but to get kills, soak damage, and the spacing on that final fight was actually really good by Doctor and Bigsby on the Lux and the Ashe to step forward and then step back and baited the Oriole. So the Shockwave actually only ended up hitting the Ornn and Braum while Pantheon was in the backline. So really, really good team fight there at the end around the Elder Drag. There was a definite shift around like the 34-35 minute mark of this game where they just all of a sudden started winning these fights, and instead of getting the 5-4 losing or 5-3 losing, they started being the ones on the top. And I love to see when they took advantage of the tempo and figured out a way to bait them into a bad team fight and close out the game.
Yeah, absolutely, and baiting them into bad team fights is completely what they're doing. It felt like the calls from Malevolent Rising were split all game, right? Where half the team was diving in, the other half of the team was doing their best to protect. Somewhat unsuccessfully. There we go. As I'm back. A little unsuccessfully, right? They couldn't keep the Orianna safe. They just couldn't keep the Yunara safe. It felt like Yunara was like pretty invisible in most of these team fights, and a lot of them started with her getting caught by an arrow into a final spark, something like that. Just takes 75% of your health, and then like, what are you gonna do? Pantheon's on your head. Like, how can play? But I think Malevolent Rising needs to sort of get their comms in order, right?
Mm-hmm.
And really unite on one front, say, hey, either we're all going in or we are all peeling. We can't have this half and half type thing, especially with this team comp into the Braum. It's just so punishing.
Yeah, and I really think that like with that, not just the comms on there, but like you were still ahead when you started throwing this game. When Ambessa did the public execution into the mid lane and there was 4 people just sitting there, like killing her while the rest of her team was like half a screen away, almost a whole screen away. Like that is a I think you called it a move of desperation, and so you were still ahead just because you lost the last fight, or Lux ended up getting the dragon soul by chance,
Oh my God.
doesn't mean that you're losing the game. And with as ahead as you are, you still have to be cognizant of your situation and where you are in your positioning. So it sucks to be an ADC. I think that's the that's the lesson that we could take from this, because
Yeah.
Bigsby and Muscle Mommy were just dying every single team fight, whichever one died, and it's unfortunate, but really really good job by Divine Order to play from behind and just keep whatever they could in front of them. And like those first two Drakes, grabbing those when you're losing everywhere else is paramount. It is so huge to be able to get those small objectives. And then they ended up turning the Otacon 50-50 as well. So really good job by a Nozdog, not just in killing Muscle Mommy, but also where he positioned himself in the team fights, creating the chaos, and then also objective control was absolutely huge.
Yeah, even like was so close to stealing away that Baron too, right? Ended up going down to the Unara at like 200 or
Yeah.
less HP, something like that. If he'd landed the Q smite at the right angle, like completely would have had it. So shout out to Nozdog, huge performance on the Pantheon, 18-8. Now we're gonna take a quick break, but that game was such a banger. You got to stick around and see the rest of the series.
that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a date with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In the yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the old well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Hello and welcome back to Game 2 of Gladiator League Week 7. We're down here at the bottom of the standings A with Divine Order Heaven's Gate versus Malevolent Esports Rising. If you missed it, Game 1 was a crazy back and forth. I mean, we had almost Baron steals, we had Dragon steals, we had aces in both directions. I mean, we were all over the place in Game 1. If you're these teams, let's say specifically Malevolent Rising, right, because they lost Game 1, what are we looking at going into Game 2 to bounce back?
I think in game 2, I mean, after something like that, hopefully they're not pointing fingers and everything, because I think everybody kind of had a part to play in that loss. There was a lot of missed opportunities or ill-advised all-ins and goes and stuff like that. I think that they just come back and say, we gave that one away. We were winning in every aspect with except for the dragons, but they had the first rift. They had, or no, they had the grubs. They had the kill lead, the gold lead, the turret lead, everything going in their favor. I think if they just say, hey, we screwed up. We got a little overzealous. We played a little bit too far ahead of our wallets. Let's just dial it back, play our style of game, and we could take these next two easily.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they had huge moments of brilliance in that game. I mean, I think we would both argue they were ahead at certain points in that game, right? When they got that Baron, I mean, they were ahead a huge amount on gold. Like, yeah, Bessa had so much strength at the top side. Vero was finding good Wukong angles a lot of the game, especially early in that top side, getting those ganks off. Yeah, Tomorrow was great on the shockwaves. Muscle Mommy had highlight moments, was getting caught a bit on the Unara, but like hard to even say
to do. Yeah,
that it was her fault, right? Like, yeah, we're just playing AD carry, like roll swap. Sorry. Draken had good hooks too, right? Like nobody played outstandingly bad in any direction, and everybody had highlight moments. So they absolutely can come back and win. As far as team compositions, like similar things are good. Like I don't know how much of it was a composition issue. I would love to see maybe a stronger bot 2v2 from the side of Malevolent, right? I think that bot 2v2, like if you give me the choice between, and I'm interested in your opinion on this, you give me the choice in a winning bot 2v2 and a winning top 1v1 in this kind of a league, I would pick the bot 2v2 more often than not because I want dragons.
Yes, and I think that instead of the Yunara, if they would have went with like a Samira or a Tristana, something that could really punish when Braum was not in the lane. But the unfortunate thing was is that Nautilus was the one going, and they actually got away with absolute murder by there being a Braum and an Ashe in your lane, and you're pushed up to the turret, and Nautilus is over at the grubs. Like, insane that they were not saving the enchanted crystal arrow for that time. So you know, you got away with one there. I think that Muscle Mommy was a little bit better than Great Bigsby, so maybe funneling something into that, giving it a resource, and then maybe even picking your ADC on round 1 would be good, because like Muscle Mommy is an outstanding MF player, and if you had MF there with the Wukong and the Ori that were already picked, and then you transition your support pick to R4 or R5, I think that that would have been a lot better for them. Not to say that they were bad on the Unara, but when there's a Pantheon, a Fed Pantheon nonetheless, and there's a Ornn and there's a Braum, it's so hard to be able to do what you want to do on Unara when you can't move. So I guess to answer your question in a shorter way is I want the 2v2 in the bot lane, because the bot lane, as we saw in the end, it didn't matter how far ahead your top laner was. When there's so much agency in the team fight given to protect the other side's ADC, who was missing all of their ults, who was, you know, sort of overextending themselves as well, it just shows that it doesn't really matter. Whereas if they had an MF, if they had maybe a Samira to pair with that or something like that, like, yeah, I'll take the 2v2 lane every single time, especially in a league like this.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see, we are here in draft for game 2. Bans exactly the same as game 1 so far. Xin Zhao is dead in the lore and is dead in this series. Seems like we are not getting him. Xin Zhao has not been disabled in the client, but maybe in this particular match. Now we'll see if they do early rotation the MF for the side of Malevolent. I would love to see Nico, however, going to be the pick for Divine Order.
Yeah, I love this pick, and it's more so just the fact of how crazy and fun the plays can end up being, especially when you're a vision ward and all of a sudden they're going to hit you and oh crap, we just turned the fight around. So I do love that. I also really like this Diana pick. I think that Vero was really good at being aggressive. Had a huge lead on Pantheon, mainly because he was taking all of the he was taking all the camps early on and, you know, punishing Pantheon for doing what he's supposed to, which is try to get his lanes ahead, which it didn't really work. But his Wukong was really good. He was everywhere he needed to be. And we see the Yasuo coming out. I saw your face and I almost made the same face. Yeah, I really like this pick. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I couldn't help it. Look, it's Diana Yasuo. Like, that's so much fun. What a crazy strong mid-jungle 2v2 synergy you have there. Volibear and Caitlyn going to be the responses for the side of Divine Order. I'm interested to see if this Neeko ends up in the bot lane or the mid lane. I'm expecting the bot lane. Caitlyn Neeko is a powerful combination of a champions. Rel actually going to be the third pick for Malevolent. So opting, again, not to take the MF in the early rotations. We'll see if it comes through. I kind of doubt that it will.
I don't really know Muscle Mommy's history too much, but I'm wondering if that's her on the Yasuo, because that would be dope. I like the Rel Diana Yasuo synergy. The problem is that they're going to have to work together, which we saw them having a lot of problems, especially in the late game, doing last game. So if they can clean up that synergy and play it like it's the first 20 minutes of the game like they did last game, I think this is going to work out really well. As long as the pilot of the Yasuo is ready to go in and the team is set up around them.
Look, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it for the side of Divine Order. They kept all 5 bans exactly the same. I think they switched around the order of a couple of the first ones, but like that's the same 5 bans. They do not want this MF coming through. Ziggs is now going to be picked from Malevolent. Again, flexible mid bot. We'll have to see where these things want to go. Annie picked up presumably for Doctor. This kind of seems like his style. Lux, Annie. We're seeing the Mel get banned out as well. We see Vigar and Malzahar being banned. Like, this guy likes control mages, likes hard CC options, and a tank in the top lane. It's exactly what I wanted to see. I was going to shout out Sion actually before the draft started. I think he played well on the Ornn, especially in those late team fights. Like, died a couple times extra in lane, but like didn't matter.
To a Riven.
Oh my God! Come on, look, hey, this is an elimination match. This is the end of the league, right? This is week 7. There is no more games after this. If you lose, go out with a bang.
Yeah, and I really love this Riven pickup. It's another one that's going to be able to knock up for the Yasuo. They have the Ziggs in the bot lane that is going to be safe, like uber safe, hopefully. I mean, it's really hard not to be on Ziggs unless you're just not paying attention. You know, the Neeko Caitlyn does have a lot of poke and kill pressure if you get caught, but if you're Ziggs and you're just throwing bombs from the back line, like, it's going to be really hard for them to punish, especially when Rel goes to roam, because as we saw this last time, Lord Draken does like to roam, and it's going to be interesting to see, especially around Yasuo level 6, level 7, once he hits that spike, to see the Rel going into the mid lane, trying to get on top of the Annie, and, you know, punish her for just being in the lane. And then you throw that in with the Diana and a Riven. I hope Bigsby's fingers are warmed up from last game, because he's going to have to be netting a lot this game.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he can do it. That is quite a reaction test. And I actually really love this Ziggs pick in the composition, because what this lets Muscle Mommy do is, like, the rest of the team last game was going in and was sort of leaving her out to dry, and she couldn't get anything done in the team fights. Like, I don't think she did any damage in almost any of those team fights. Now, they leave you out to dry. That's fine. Bomb over the top. You die. Whatever. You got, like, most of your damage off anyway. You just press R before you die while the rest of your team is going in. And, like, good chance you win the team fight this time. You're just so much more useful in that situation when you're getting zoned out, and actually might be able to play, like, further back and out of the range of the Neeko and Volibear engage. So we'll see what Muscle Mommy can get done on the pick, but I like it in this comp.
Yeah, I do too. And you also have the guaranteed lockdown between the Diana and the Yasuo. Like, Diana goes in, she ults, pulls everybody in at the same time. That half, 3/4 of a second of the pull in stun is also exacerbated by the Yasuo coming in and potentially the Rel coming in. So you're going to be able to lock down multiple members of this Divine Order comp while you're throwing a bomb. You know what I mean? So, like, I really, really do love Malevolent's comp. I think that Divine Order have a really good one too. I just fear that the Annie is a little bit too short range. Obviously not with the auto attack range, but with her spells, and she's going to have to get in, which is exactly what Malevolent wants them to do. So it's going to be interesting to see. And then hoping to see an invade here, but I don't think so. Ziggs, Muscle Mommy a little slow on the Ziggs to get out of there. So it looks like 5 points to start this game off.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything from that regard. Interestingly, Exhaust taken by Zuino. I like it on the Nico, sort of recognizing, look, I know how we lose this game, and that is Riven and Yasuo in the backside. I'm going to exhaust them up. And now Ignite's actually in 2 solo lanes. That's an Ignite Riven and an Ignite Annie for these comps. Electrocute, Ignite Annie for Doctor, saying, hey, I want to put the pressure onto Tomorrow in this lane. Sort of lost lane in game 1. We'll see if there's some action here of Euro. Not quite landing the Q. Bindsy going to walk away. Ward on the blue buff that did.
Yeah, just a little bit of vision, and I actually really like their vision a lot better because Divine Order get a defensive ward down, but they didn't get any offensive wards down, so they're not going to know where Vero is going to be starting on this Diana. Is he topside going to bot? Is he bot going to top? Are they going to be able to get like a cheeky level 2 gank off like a Nazdog did on the Pantheon last time? So I really, really do like it. I think big early game, vision win for Malevolent Rising.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the ability to know exactly how things are going in this early game, know where these junglers are pathing, as we see pathing top to bot for the Volibear, bot to top for the Diana. They want to move in on their strong lanes, right? Like, Ziggs eventually will be able to, yes, clear these waves from incredible amounts of range. Level 1, level 3, like, not really going to be able to happen. So Caitlyn Nico will get a lot of pressure in the early levels, and Volibear wants to come down and punish, but we're seeing a similar story to game 1 up at the top side, Phil. Termac is going to be smacking on Bindsy.
Yeah, and I think Bindsy maybe probably could have taken his W first to just give himself a little bit more sustain. Hit a minion and sit in there for a little bit. Termac is doing a really, really good job of staying on top of this Scion, not giving him any breathing room. But, I mean, once you hit level 2, I guess it's, whatever. But, yeah, with the Grasp and with the Scion W passive, he's going to be so super tanky. And I kind of feel like that gives Malevolent a potential timer on this one. If this one ends up going 45 minutes again, Caitlyn and Scion are going to be really, really, really hard to deal with.
Yeah, which is kind of exactly what we saw in the last game, right? The game just got to a point where, like, nobody could kill the Ornn, nobody could kill the Pantheon with any sort of speed, and, like, they just started losing team fights even from up gold, and it's looking like, yeah, I completely agree. They're on a bit of a clock. The same kind of thing could happen. Scion actually up CS in these early levels on the Riven, despite taking some trades that didn't maybe go his way health-wise. He is up CS level 3, hit for the bot lane here. Ziggs and Rel going to have to back off a lot in this lane. Volibear is here, and there are no wards to spot him out. Now, they should know that he's here around this timing as the crab spawns. We'll see if he goes for a gank.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get one off unless this wave rebounds here, but Bigsby and Zueno doing a really, really good job of keeping the pressure up on Ziggs. Like, one thing that you can really do to these control mages that go into the bot lane is just shove them, right? Shove them under tower, make them have to use all of their mana on the wave, and as we see now, like, he has no mana, as we're going to get a
he's actually dead
from the top lane.
Yeah, as we get another play on the top side as well. Termac grabs a kill onto Bindsy, but the Ziggs died under tower with flash up. We saw as we were panning away, he got grabbed by a Nico root, and I think just taken down, probably trap into headshot from Bigsby. Really nice pressure there as we'll see what happens on the bot side here. Yeah, he gets caught with a root, like...
Yeah, right as the camera was panning away, too, so good job by Zueno right here. Yep.
Yeah, it's just a kill. That is just always a kill. So much damage, gonna miss like all of the range minions of that wave. Now on the other side of the map, Punish, the cross met play comes through. Diana gets the dive off, kill goes to Riven, which is huge for the top lane matchup. About the same way we saw it going in game 1.
Yeah, the only difference is that Scion is able to collect a couple different he's able to collect a little bit of CS on the back side of that, whereas Ziggs is just kind of screwed out of that. So Scion able to push his wave back a little bit as Riven takes a couple turret shots. I think Diana came back for the for the second dive, and we saw what happened in game 1 to a Nazdog and Divine Order when they stuck around for too long. They were giving up their first Drake of the game, so this is going to be a chance. And now is Nazdog coming in onto the Yasuo here.
Yeah, nice wraparound. We'll see if they can get anything off it tomorrow. Has flash. If
Good.
he wants it, didn't use it, just falls to the Volibear, and he doesn't grab the kill, goes to a Nazdog, which is quite nice. Now Any will be able to safely pick up the rest of this wave. Is down CS again. Again, both of these solo lanes, similar story to game one. Tomorrow getting caught out on a gank, but still up CS.
Yeah, and you know, Annie is one of those champions where, you know, you do get your mana refunded if you kill with the Q, but if you don't, or if you're using your fireball to harass or anything like that, like you lose so much as far as the mana goes. As we're gonna get a Scion gank on the mid here too.
Yeah, that's a crazy ult in from the Scion. Tomorrow will flash out of the wall though. Oh, that flash from Volibear was like just slightly too much. They should have known that Tomorrow didn't have flash up still, so Tomorrow had flash up, excuse me, will get out over the wall. Doesn't have teleport though, might be forced to recall and miss a ton of minions into the bot lane, pushing in as well. I like the attempt from Scion, but probably losing quite a bit in the top lane while this happens, and just over aggressive on the flash for a Nazdog. If he played it a little more patiently, there's a kill there.
Yeah, and you know, does miss a little bit, but doesn't sacrifice a plate. Is only down 5 CS, considering that he died first in that lane. Like, you're not feeling too bad if you're the side. If you can ult all the way to the mid lane and then get back up and still be like sort of there on CS, I think that's a really, really big win. You blew a huge summoner out of the Yasuo, and with the amount of attention that a Nazdog is paying this mid lane, like, this could be real big trouble for Tomorrow on this Yasuo if this keeps up.
Yeah, as Bindsy, a bit of a bind up here in the top lane, doesn't have the teleport, doesn't have the flash, doesn't have the ultimate after using it for that gank, but is already tanky enough that he can walk up, he can take a little bit of harassment, a little bit of punishment, and be okay. Bigsby and Zubino doing a great job here of poking down Muscle Mommy in this bot lane and extending that CS lead up to about 15. We'll go down after catching this wave to about 10, but still love to be in that situation. Caitlin's exactly where you want to be. Excuse me, as a Nazdog face checks the bush. Once again, this jungle does not belong to you. It is the same story as game one, but he gets out with the blast cone. Doctor comes in and saves him with Tibbers over the top. Picks over to level 7 and almost kills Tomorrow. Nice save coming in from the Annie. Volibear will get to walk out of the jungle alive.
Yeah, and when you're a flashless jungler and you're getting invaded by 3 people and you get to walk out of that, you feel really, really good. On the other side, Malevolent Rising not feeling really good about that play, as just that should never happen. He should never get out. So a little bit of a misplay from them. I think Riven maybe stayed up top lane too long, but now Doctor's in the sights of Vero.
Yeah, might be overextended. Tomorrow doesn't feel like he can go for it though. It's so low on the Yasuo, so actually just gonna let the Annie walk out, use Vero's pressure to like push in the wave and hopefully get a nice safe recall off. Is up about 15 CS, still will again go down to about 10. So they're up CS in some lanes. Gold pretty much dead even, but there's a dragon we could be fighting for.
Yeah, and I really, really like that play by Vero, just showing up. Sometimes the gank doesn't have to equate to summoners blown, to kills, or anything like that. Like, hey, if I don't back here, I'm not going to be able to back before this dragon. I need you to come, you know, just pressure so we can get the wave. And really, really good job by Vero to just make a nice, easy to execute heads-up play and basically get a little bit of space for their Yasuo to go up. And the dragon is up, but it looks like the grubs are what these teams both want to get. You do have a Scion and you do have a Riven, so both of these champions can really, really utilize this these grubs really well.
Yeah, they'll be much more effective this game than they were last game. I feel like they actually kind of didn't really do anything last game. There was just no real split push threat from the Mbesses. You see, Muscle Mommy is down here in the 1v1 against the Caitlyn. We'll be fine to push up those waves at this point at level 7. Here comes the Scion, whiffs the ultimate, just sort of goes right through the uprights, and they're going to turn on a Volibear. Doesn't get the ultimate over the wall, and he's gonna fall eventually all around to the backside with a huge 4-man Magnet Storm. They're taking down the volley. They'll take down the Scion as well. He picks up the Diana. Might pick up the Rel. Good flash out from Lord Drake, and we'll see if he's fast enough. Yeah, nice Q there to stop the Scion, a passive from coming through. A lot of nice kills. We see the combo potential for the side of MVE.
Yeah, if you're going to get caught out by any one of these champions, the Rel, the Riven, or the Diana, Yasuo is going to be able to join up and press that advantage and hit his ult and get some kills. So really, really good job by Malevolent Rising playing to their comp early on. Bindsy unfortunately misses that Scion ult, which I think could have turned that fight the other way. And you know, having to blow the flash out of the Rel, who didn't take Hextech this game, I think is absolutely huge for the side of Divine Order to make the best out of a bad situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really, really huge for the game. We'll see what they can do off the back of it. 3-0 now, and the Ribbon has the Eclipse completed for Termac at the top side. This is, again, such a huge early lead. Now, can he convert it in the way that he couldn't last game, right? Can he make those team fights work? As we see, actually, the Grubs are going to go down to Divine Order here. I assume they would have taken them off the back of that last fight, but they didn't, electing to go for the Dragon instead. So they are going to trade these objectives. Grubs to Divine Order, Dragon to Malevolent. Both teams content to trade for these objectives. Now tomorrow has to back off, knows he's getting ganked.
Yeah, I think Zwenyo really, really needs his ult here. Like, he needs to stick around in A lane at some point and hit his level 6 because he is way far behind right now. And without the ultimate to do anything, like, it just feels really bad. So as he sits around in the mid lane, picks up his 6, and that's going to be able to turn team fights around really well here. As Termac, once again, is just getting so much pressure against Bindsy a game again. Just like you said, just like in game 1, but this time you're on a Riven, probably more comfortable than the Ambessa. So we'll see. Also, a lot less of a chance for like public execution to put him way outside of where he should be.
Yeah, you got to kind of do more work to get completely out of position on Ribbon than you do on Ambessa. One click of a button and you're dead on Ambessa. Sometimes it's really pushing them, effectively forcing the Scion to back off. But has no TP, has no flash, is down about 30 CS in that top lane to the Ribbon. So Termac doing a really, really good job of extending that lead. And we see now in the bot lane, they're starting to get the push as well. We saw Draken flash of a Nozdog after the Dragon in that little river skirmish. So nice by Draken on the Rel, and they're starting to get the push with the Ziggs. Ziggs hopefully has an item completed off of this back. Actually, not going to take the back yet. Bindsy, ooh, face checks a brush, doesn't have ultimate, doesn't have flash. You really can't be walking up.
Yeah, and he was kind of looking for Termac there, and I think the Termac's going to turn this around. He does have the Ignite and Veros here. This should be a dead Scion, yep. Yeah. Oof. At the same time, on the bot side, Bigsby getting a little bit too close. Going to go down to the Ignite as Zwenyo's trying to get out as Rel and Ziggs are pushing in towards. They are going to get the knockback, and he's going to miss either. And Volley coming in for the other side, but Draken's going to keep him safe there. Good peel on the Rel by Lord Draken to just sort of stifle that as over on the top side. They are going to lose their first tier 1. Mojo, I think, DC'd a little bit, so we should get him back here in a second. As, yeah, turret 1 is going to go down. They're really, really playing for this top side here. I like to see this. I think having the Ziggs in the bot lane really gives you the opportunity to just push your lead, which is what they should have done in game 1. And they're doing it here in game 2, so I really like this out of Malevolent Rising, and they're also just taking as much as they can away from a Nozdog again, and without him being able to get all the kills like he did by the Pantheon the first time, but he's doing his own due diligence of cross-map jungle pressure. Because might see a dive here on the bot lane as Ziggs teleports in, but it looks like it's going the other way. Tomorrow and Doctor going back and forth as they do in the mid lane. Tomorrow got a nice sizable 33 CS advantage here, but is getting collapsed on by the Volibear and the Scion. We'll see if they can get anything out of this, as they are going to get the stun out. He is going to flash away from the Tivers, not get knocked off. The turret will be stopped momentarily, but now the turnaround from Vero coming in does get on top of Doctor, does get the kill. Bindsy moving away. That's another play that Divine Order tried to start up and don't get. Tomorrow still has an ultimate too, so Bindsy's gonna have to be really, really careful. As now we're starting to see a lot of damage coming out of the Ziggs coming through here. Are we back, Mojo?
I sure am. Muscle Mummy down a bit of CS, but will be pumped out the damage. Oh, Nozdog, this jungle, you should know from game 1, this jungle does not belong to you. No ultimate, no flash on the Volibear will presumably get chased down at some point. That's 3 members on the Yasuo should be able to find him. Maybe he can get an execute off, actually. Looks like he will be able to, as they've turned off. They seem to be content not to chase the Volibear any further. They don't want to drop too much CS in these lanes, so actually good escape from a Nozdog there. Yeah, gets a recall off, doesn't even have to execute. Real dangerous stuff, but like this topside jungle, again, it's so much of this game, Fel, is just repeats of game 1. They don't control the topside jungle. They're losing pressure in both of the side lanes. They've got a pushing bot side, and they're actually using that advantage in the 2v2 this game, which I like to see, but everywhere else, those advantages are even stronger than they were in game 1. Now, tomorrow, stunned up under tower, a little too aggressive after the teleport, but yeah, should be fine. Dragon spawning in about 30 seconds. We'll see if we can get another reset off before then.
Yeah, and I'd like to see Malevolent go and try to take this rift while it's up, too. They took the first dragon. You can give away the second one pretty much for free, and that's what they're doing. They're going over for the rift. They're trying to control as many objectives as they can. I think the only difference between this game and last game, the blue side for Malevolent Rising belongs to this Volibear. He's been in there. He's been counter jungling this entire time. So I really, really like the change, the adaptation that they have there. And now it's going to be a huge fight for Rift here as it actually gets reset. They had it pulled out too far.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate. It's going to mean they take even more time to do this. Neither the bot laners are here, so it is a complete 4v4. Sion going in. Nice block from the rail there. Whoa, but the Pop Blossom finds a lot, but it's just not enough damage, not enough follow-up. Malevolent Rising pick up all the kills. That's a 4-for-0 clean play from Lord Drake, and to stop the engaged, they get double kills. They get the Herald. They're going to get mid lane tier 1 and the Dragon along with it.
Yeah, that's a huge play. We always talk about this, the tempo of the game. Tempo is 100% in Malevolent Rising's favor right now. I wouldn't mind seeing them pilot this Shelly if they have the skills to go down towards the bot lane and hit that tier 1 as well, but it does look like tomorrow's just going to go for this mid turret. But yeah, huge play, and once again, that's a play that Divine Order orchestrated, getting the Annie out front, but the turnaround from Rel was absolutely huge, and then for that to follow up with the Diana Yasuo just shows you what happens here. What happens when you're going into that comp and you put one of your damage dealers out front.
Yeah, and look, at some point, if they want to take these fights, they just need to start moving the Caitlyn up there. This underfed Volibear, right, and this like early level 1 item Annie are just not dealing enough damage to actually get through. That was a really awesome Pop Blossom from Zuino, and it just didn't matter at all, right? Hit 4 with it, didn't matter. Oh, and we see Doctor dead again in the mid lane. Tomorrow now so fed on the Yasuo, and they haven't been able to punish on the bot side either. As we see, they're actually getting punished. Vero is in and 2 levels up over the Volibear, hits the Moonfall, takes him down, forces him out of his jungle. This Volibear can't grab any camps. The consolation prize might be the top lane tier 1, but they are losing all over the map, and they're looking to extend that lead even further. Mid lane tier 2 is down there looking for a dive on the bot side. They don't have the Moonfall, but it just won't matter. Lord Dragon is in there, grabs 1 before the Pop Blossom goes off. Great Bigsby might be able to kite it out, just barely does. Mega Inferno Bomb not gonna connect. Diana still here in the backside. Level 11 doesn't have the flash up, can't quite follow. And Nozdog gonna have to back off as well. They're gonna give over the bot lane tier 1. They gave over the mid lane tier 2, and the gold lead is enormous for Malevolent.
Yeah, you're sitting at 9K right, or 8.5K right now. But my math sucks. 7.5K here. Yeah, this one's getting out of hand really quickly, and I think the Divine Order are gonna have to do something with this. And I agree with you. Caitlyn needs to be in the mid lane. She should have been in the mid lane 3-4 waves ago. Sitting under the tower, good fancy footwork by Bigsby to pilot himself and keep himself at least safe enough until they had to basically force him out of there. Getting out of there without dying is pretty impressive considering how much they sent down there. But yeah, they really need to. They needed to get him there and get tomorrow. Doctor over to the bot side so that he can farm there, because Yasuo Diana or Yasuo Rel or Yasuo Riven is just going to kill you time and time again, especially when your only items are Malignant and Sorcerer's Boots.
Yeah, and they're proving that time and again. As you said, 2 items complete on the Riven. Termac is a complete monster and is roaming so effectively, finding kills in other lanes. And now we have the assignments we would like to see tomorrow. Chunked about half by Tibbers and Ignite, but like shouldn't really be killable here. Might be able to just walk it out. Yep, hits a tornado, gets to walk this one out. That's Ignite and ult down for Doctor. Actually, Flash in. Oh, doesn't land the W. Tomorrow flashes anyway. Probably didn't have to. Doctor doesn't find the kill in the side lane. It's about the only sort of course of action you have is the Annie, though you were so underfed that you need to be looking for these picks. Bigsby is now in the mid lane and can affect the map, but it might be too little too late. I can just imagine this Caitlyn getting completely exploded in these team fights.
Yeah, but the one thing that we've seen with Bigsby is that they do have a lot of ability to be like hard to kill, I guess. You know, even on the Ashe with the public execution, with how you know, ahead Termac was on the Ambessa last game. Towards the end, he was doing a really good job with their spacing and keeping themselves alive. So I think if there's anybody that can do it, it's him. And now if you're Divine Order, you just have to say, we have to get to 35 minutes. We have to get Kate to 3 items. We have to get to the point where she can two-shot the Ziggs, you know. So looks like they're going to end up losing the Otacon unless a Nazdog pulls off a huge hero play here. But I guess Malevolent Rising a little shy on pulling it off here.
Oh, shy on pulling it off, but not shy on pulling the trigger and going in. The Magnet Storm from Draken is beautiful. They grab 2 kills on the top jungle, and now the Otacon is all but free. Tomorrow did teleport up here. They're leaving bot lane alone to the Scion, who will presumably pick up a tier 1 tower on the other half of the map. But it is just so worth for Malevolent. Great engage from Lord Draken, looking incredibly comfortable on this rail.
Yeah, and if they really, really wanted to, they could send Ziggs down there. He does have teleport up. You know, Muscle Mommy has been doing really good at just staying on the outside. And you were talking about it in the pregame or during the draft, is that you don't have to sit there and get your auto attacks off anymore, you know? Like you do get the empowered auto attack after a couple of spells and some time. So throwing one and then just throwing your ult and keeping them basically all confined to that small corridor where Riven and Yasuo can work their magic. I guess on that one is Riven and Diana working their magic to just, you know, zero everybody out. And yeah, they've grabbed themselves such a lead that this would be monumental if they end up throwing this game like they did game 1. They've put themselves in a really, really, really good spot here. I love what Malevolent Rising is doing as an answer to losing the first game.
Yeah, absolutely. They're coming back with a vengeance in game 2. They are playing with no less confidence in game 1. In fact, maybe even more, right? Pulling the trigger on these snap engages from Draken and Vero, following up so well. Termac 6-0 on the Riven. You got to imagine they're going to pick up their 3rd drag.
Yeah, I think that has to be a foregone conclusion. Unless tomorrow gets caught out here, which is a potential. They do have the Siren ult that will be able to use it, but they don't want to overcommit too many resources to this Yasuo, which I think is a really, really good job. But now they have to worry about the follow-up.
Oh!
Get
Vero's in with the Moonfall. They just barely don't take out Zuino. Response of the Pop Blossom uses it to peel, but they're going to have to back off of the Dragon. They have to give it over to Malevolent with their support this low.
Yeah, and for a Caitlyn game, Ziggs is one of the last champions you want to see when you pick that in, and this is why, because there's nothing that Bigsby can do. You can push all you want, but this Ziggs is going to get wave clears. We see even clears the mid wave from the Dragon Pit now. So this is really, really frustrating if you're on the side of Divine Order, because there's really not much counterplay you have to a comp like this. You're gonna have to get to the point where you're doing these late game team fights and hope that Bigsby can carry through from the backside.
Yeah, and you can see their attempt at counterplay if you look at the inventories. Bindsy purchased the Hull Breaker on Scion, wants to use that split push potential with the 3 grubs that they have. Has already taken both of the outer towers in bot lane and top lane, right? So like, feels like maybe that's his angle into the game. Maybe that's his angle to get any sort of pressure on the map, and has been cross-mapping towers while Malevolent is on objectives, but it's just not going to be enough. Malevolent's going to take these objectives down so quickly, and they're just going to end the game in your face if you try and do that. So I do think Scion will need to group eventually. So see Flash blown off of Caitlyn there in the mid lane, basically for nothing, and Nazdal grabs a red buff. They're going to push in a little bit on the top side, but they're getting pushed in to inhibit towers in the mid lane, so they're going to have to back off.
Yeah, and I mean, this is your saving grace here, is that Caitlyn does have a decent amount of wave clear and can put the Yordle snap traps down to make sure that you can't get the, you know, you can't just dive in on her or whatever. So giving themselves some space and giving themselves a little bit of crowd control to keep themselves from dying. But now Doctor caught way too far out on this Annie.
Yeah, spent too much time on that top lane tier 2, and the
Zion has
Doctor
the Hull
caught.
breaker, Annie.
Yep, Scion's the one of the hull breaker, and it's paying off. Look, that's a full tier 2 taken down by the Scion. Actually does a lot of damage to these outer turrets with the hull breaker and with the 3 grubs, so good play to Bindsy, getting something back on the bot side of the map. It's what you need to be doing to try and equalize this gold lead, but it is just so massive. 6k gold up for Malevolent. Baron spawning in 2 seconds, and they're going to get complete vision control of it. I don't think they're going to hit it just yet. They don't do it super fast with the Ziggs.
No, yeah, Ziggs and Yasuo. Well, I mean, Yasuo will be able to burn it down pretty quick with the items that he has. But yeah, I think that this is the game plan. And like we said, there's a timer, there's a buffer where at some point this Scion is going to require you to have 2 people respond to him at minimum. With as fed as Riven and Diana are, they can do that now. 10 minutes from now, I'm not too sure. So they do have to sort of keep this tempo up and keep this level of aggression up so that they'll be able to make sure that Scion doesn't get to that point. Because when you're having a 4v3 and Caitlyn has 3-4 items, like that's going to be hard for you to deal with. So I think that at this point they need to really shut down Bindsy as much as they can. That seems to be what they're doing here.
Yeah, I think they're listening to you, Fel. Here they are trying to shut him down. Now, he will get the ultimate out and will escape the play, but they won't be able to escape on the mid lane. The Mega Inferno Bomb over the top does so much damage, and Nazdog is down, and so is the bot lane. Doctor's here to try and salvage the play, and he just can't do it. Triple kill for Termac. They're going to push in, and that might just be the game.
That might do. This actually might be a 26-minute quick kill. Bindsy is not going to be able to defend from all of these guys. They did send 2, but what I was saying before that, it's a 4v3, not a 3v1, v1, v1, where you just die over and over again. It's, yeah, Bindsy just has no chance whatsoever. He's going to get the kill back on Draken, but that's not somebody that they really care about. That's not somebody
yeah.
on the towers.
And they've got a Ziggs. They can melt these towers so quickly.
Oh,
Pop Blossom doesn't connect and dies before it even goes down. They're going to take down the Nexus in this game 2 and bring us all the way to game 3. It would not be a toilet bowl series if we did not go the full distance. Fel. Malevolent really just looking like the better team in game 2.
Yeah, and I absolutely love what they did here. They like putting Muscle Mommy on a control mage like a Ziggs. If they don't put her on something like that again, I think it's criminal because she played that so well. She played that lane so well. Now, she did get caught early on, gave up the first blood to the Caitlyn by getting caught out by the Nico. It's kind of hard to see exactly where Nico's coming from at all times, so give a little bit of grace on that. But outside of that one play, absolutely awesome job by Muscle Mommy to control the waves, to keep Caitlyn from being able to get anywhere towards Fed, and then and then for them to be able to get like that, and they knew they had a timer. Like we talked about it during draft into the game. Like they're on a timer. Caitlyn getting to 4 items is not an option. Having Scion get, especially the item 2 Hullbreaker, I love it. He did his best. I think that was a really good buy by Bindsy to realize like I'm gonna have to just do this and hopefully my team doesn't get caught out. But unfortunately they did, and yeah, Malevolent just put the pedal to the metal and just ran it down their throats.
Yeah, kind of steamrolled them in the game. I mean, as you said, that is decisive play. That is aggressive play from Malevolent Rising. It's exactly what we needed to see. They knew they were on a clock, and they came in well ahead of schedule, finding those picks in the mid lane and going, yeah, it's 26 minutes. We just win. Our Riven is so fed. Our Ziggs does so much damage to these towers. Like, we can melt through this base. They did it so well there in game 2. We will be back for game 3 in just a little bit, so stick around. We'll see who ends up taking their first win and only win of the series. Stay tuned. Oh, maybe we're not going to break yet.
There you go. Gladiator.
All right, welcome back for Game 3. This is the final game of our stream for the regular season here in Gladiator League. If you missed it, Divine Order took a back and forth, scrappy, really like throws all around, big plays all around Game 1. Malevolent Rising came out in Game 2 and just steamrolled.
Yeah, they absolutely took that game into their own hands. I don't think that Termac was willing to let the Game 1 happen again. Between him and Vero just owning the jungle of Nazdog, and to his credit, Nazdog did a great job of counter jungling on the other side. They were almost like flipped to where it was like a bottom side of the screen over and then top side of the screen there. So like really good job of recognizing that, but his laners are just giving leads away with some bad matchups. Like Sion into the Riven, Termac on that Riven was absolutely like just dogpiling onto Blindsy there, and I think it almost looked unfair. And at the same time, Doctor on the Annie was nowhere near as good as they were on the Lux from Game 1. So tomorrow, just patient play on the Yasuo, waiting for Vero to come, waiting for, you know, anything that he any advantage that he could get, and to the point where by the time that the fight started happening, Yasuo, just with the CS lead and not giving away kills like it did in Game 1, was just so much stronger than Annie. And a lot of bad positioning during the fights in the early game, where they were just lining up 3-4 people for Diana and Yasuo and Riven to just jump on top of, really just spelled just not it just really wasn't good for Divine Order in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, if we're picking neutralizing top lane picks, we're picking Ornn, we're picking Sion, and we're still losing lane this hard, like maybe we need to start throwing some bans Blindsy's way, or Termac's way, excuse me. Like I'm not quite sure champ pool wise how deep it goes in terms of these lane punishing picks, which Ambessa isn't really a lane punishing pick, but worked out. The Riven absolutely can be a lane punishing pick. We'll see what else he has if they maybe want to start throwing some bans his way. I know they've been banning pretty heavily towards Vero in the jungle, who has been effective anyway, right? Incredibly effective on both the Wukong and the Diana in both of these games. Really ran the map on Diana. Loves these engaged junglers. I could see him pulling out something like the Amumu here in Game 3. If they don't ban Xin Zhao, I'm sure he'll pick it. So, like, not a fan.
No, I just think that, like, with what he's played with the Wukong, with the Diana, like, I don't think an Amumu would be more his style. I'm thinking like the Vi, the Xin Zhao,
Sure, yeah.
obviously Neferi is what they keep banning and stuff. And I think maybe letting one of those go, like, you're gonna lose your jungle anyways. Do what you did last game and just let them have that. The biggest problem is that they allowed Muscle Mommy in this last game to pick one of the safest champions available, and we're not able to punish that. And if your top and your mid lane are not your strongest players, which, judging from Game 1, Doctor was fine. Judging from Game 2, he's not on the same level as tomorrow. So I think playing through bot lane and forcing their bot laner onto an uncomfortable, unsafe champion is probably your best bet. Although, you know, Malevolent Rising haven't been keen on picking the Jinx or the MF or any of these other strong, like, sort of safe ADCs as well. So I don't know. Game 2 was really like the first part of Game 1, but they didn't throw the game.
Yes. Yeah. It went exactly how Game 1 went, except they didn't get dragons stacked on them, and they didn't Ambessa ult into 4 people on midwave. And then the game just ended like Game 1 probably should have. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, if Malevolent can keep it clean here in Game 3, play the same way they did in Game 2, where, like, clean doesn't mean not playing aggressive, right? Clean just means taking the right opportunities and not maybe taking all opportunities, and especially looking for those dragons. Dragon stacking was realistically the way that Divine Order won Game 1, and if you can even just get the first one for Malevolent, you have so much more room to play aggressive bans. And about the same so far for Game 3, even though we've switched sides. Sivir and Poppy the bans for Malevolent, Smolder so far for Divine.
Yeah, and we were talking in the pre-draft, and I think that, you know, Termac, if you're gonna give him a Fiora or you're gonna give him a Jax or you're gonna give him a Gnar, like, I'm hoping that Blindsy is putting on his best pair of pants here today, because it's gonna be rough, and you know, you're getting down to the point where you pick your Ornn, You picked your Scion, which are obviously two comfort champs for him. And things that he feels like he can play into somebody who's a couple ranks ahead of him, and he hasn't been doing too terribly. Oh god, the Vlad. If that's a Termac Vlad, I'm gonna be excited to see this. It's a really, really hard champ to kill, especially in lane, unless you're just sending so much at him. We're gonna see the Urgot, so we're gonna see him on a fighter this time, which I'm kind of excited to see, because we've seen Blindsy on two, try to hold the wave and neutralize the lane, but it just hasn't worked. And we're gonna see Bigsby on Draven. This is the fun match. This is the fun one.
Bill, this is how the season needs to end. This is how we should end the regular season. This is exactly what the toilet bowl is. We are insta-locking Draven Urgot versus Vladimir Trundle. You love to see it. I hope the rest of the draft can continue to be as spicy as this. Now, I would love to see maybe a bot lane pick. Ooh, Mel coming through for tomorrow. Okay, they've been banning that all series, but they figure on blue side safe deep up. Divine Order didn't pick it in their first two, so we'll go over to presumably tomorrow. I guess Muscle Mommy could play it, depending on what tomorrow wants. Oof, Xerath, the response.
Yeah, and I think that's a Xerath support. I think that's going to pair really well with the Draven. I would have liked to have seen either that or a Zyra or Vel'Koz, something with a lot of damage to where they can punish Muscle Mommy if they can get on top of her, and that's the pretty good pick. Lord Draken has shown that he can be a little bit too overzealous on these engaged champs, the Nautilus, and even this last one on the Rel is just that their wallets were so big they couldn't punish anything that he did. So I really like the Xerath pick. I like the amount of damage that they are coming with, and I really, really want to see them be the aggressors in this game.
I'm a little confused by some of these bans. I feel like on both teams we're banning roles that have presumably already been picked, but I guess we'll have to see how the rest of the draft.
Yeah, I mean, potentially that could be Doctor on the Urgot if he plays it. With the Poppy being banned, I love the Rakan coming out. So that is going to be a Xerath mid. A little bit safer, a little bit better at, managing against potentially this Mel. And we are going to see Muscle Mommy on the MF. I was hoping to see it. They didn't ban it, and I'm super stoked to see this because I've casted her before, and Muscle Mommy on the MF it's a pleasure to watch. And that paired up with the Mel, with the Trundle, and with the Leona, there's so much lockdown, there's so much potential for this. And now, but Leona also, depending on how good Zueño is going to be on this okay, so it's an Urgot jungle?
Something here feels incorrect. I mean, maybe these are the real picks, and then it's like something feels odd.
Yeah,
I feel like we have the. We'll see. I guess when we get into game, look, if this is what they pick, this is what they pick, and that's awesome. I don't think we're playing Draven jungle. We'll have to see.
Draven jungle probably not. It's okay. Okay, so that is okay. So production just let us know that is a Mundo in the jungle, not a Draven. So. We can all calm down a little bit here as we are going to see these come up. Okay, there's the Mundo picture. So a little bit more sense now.
Mundo is a crazy jungle, and makes the Trundle pick make a lot more sense too, right? Trundle into Mundo does feel like the kind of matchup that you want.
Yeah, I think in lane it makes more sense than it does in the jungle, or at least, I mean, they both make sense, but I think that Trundle in lane against Mundo is going to have a much easier time and is going to be able to, basically get his use his ult a little bit more effectively. Where here you're not guaranteed to have it, but Trundle, very, very strong pick in the jungle. I think that Malevolent picked another really strong comp for themselves. I love the Mel. I love the, obviously, Mommy on the MF. I think she pilots it really well. So this is going to be a tall task for Divine Order to come up with. And Ezreal in the hands of Bigsby. He's been pretty good on most of his champions that he's played, but it has not worked out outside of the first game where it's kind of the rest of his Malevolent throwing more than it was his Ashe play.
Yeah, absolutely. Has been totally safe in these games, but maybe hasn't had the most team fight impact. We'll have to see what he can pull off in this game, and if he can take his team over the edge. Nice double stun from Tomorrow's. We got a little action here. Vero maybe caught out, gonna have to flash the wall. Oh, doesn't get it in time though. The Urgot E comes through. Double flashes coming through for Divine Order, and that's a first blood going over the Urgot. Oh, but falls to the execute from Tomorrow, and now Leona is here, and Nozdog already flashed, doesn't have it up. Termac will grab out another execution for Tomorrow, and now Doctor taken low as well. Gonna flash. Does he get caught by the stun at the last second? He does not. 2 kills to the Mel, 1 to the Urgot, and the last game of the Toilet Bowl is absolutely delivering.
Yeah, and I don't really understand what Doctor was doing there. Like, they got up to like the Raptor thing, and then it looked like they stopped and was just seeing if Mundo made it out or not. Like, he could have lost his life there if Mel just had like half a second shorter cooldown. So interesting in the beginning here. I think sending Draken up there was the right call because you did end up getting the second kill. And unfortunately, you know, Zueño and Bigsby aren't going to have a ton of kill pressure up against, you know, the MF at level 1.
No, it's not the same kind of lane pressure they've had in games number 1 and 2. It'll be a bit easier. Ooh, Tomorrow ticking really low though. This is the unfortunate thing. Wasn't able to back after those first 2 kills. So the gold lead that he has doesn't actually mean anything in this early lane until he gets that first reset. Now, Bindsy did get the first kill on the Urgot up there as well. Still probably not the... Ooh. Tomorrow falls to the Arcane Comet. Doesn't have flash. Maybe greeted for a couple waves there. Maybe just had to accept the reset, but would have gone down so much XP. I'm really not sure, but does fall in the end to Doctor. 2 kills to 2.
Yeah, and the other side of that too is that, oh, never mind. We'll get to it in a second as Vero's coming up.
Yeah, Bindsy's going in at the wrong time. The Pillar of Filth comes in, and Bindsy's not getting out of this one. Already popped the flash in the first exchange. Vero grabs a kill on the Trundle. Feet of Warfare goes to Malevolent Rising.
Yeah, they're continuing their tempo from game 2, and in a very good way. A lot of times, teams can be, oh, as Draken goes in.
Yeah, goes in. Not going to find too much. A lot of damage onto Bigsby, though. Muscle Mommy not able to continue the follow-up, but Ezreal chunked real low in this lane. Zueño, full HP, but it just doesn't matter. Oh, nice. Lucky with the Guardian proc there at the right time for Bigsby, saving him from getting that double-up hit.
Yeah, and this is a press the attack Ezreal, so he's not going to have the same sort of sustain that he would have if he was taking fleet footwork. Obviously, press the attack much better, especially once you get into the shorter cooldowns on your Q and you're able to land stuff. So that, but what I was going to say prior to all of that was during the level 1 team fight over into the jungle, Tomorrow had used their pots already, and Doctor, even though he was low before that fight started, was able to use his pots on the backside, so he actually had a lot more health, and Mel just not respecting the damage from them.
Oh, so see back more action in the mid lane and in the bot lane, though Bigsby barely gets out. Nice buffer on the arcane shift. We saw in the mid lane trying to punish Doctor for having no flash, taking a lot of the health down, but a nice stun came through onto the Trundle and sort of prevented anything more coming through. Yeah, reflect that cleaver. Show him who's boss tomorrow. That's a fun little Mel interaction, slowing the Mundo up as he tries to salvage the lane and let Doctor take a free recall.
Yeah, and I really like Doctor's early game on this. I think that, you know, given the fact that he gets the kill after you go 2-0 in the initial fight, does, you know, that can get into the back of your mind a little bit to where you're like, okay, I got this, I'm good. And as we see here, like, Blindsy actually doing a pretty decent job of shoving this wave. Unfortunately, without flash, he did get a little bit too overzealous and gave over the feats of warfare early on, but I do like his aggression on this. I like that he's not just giving this lane over to Termac, which was kind of the case in games 1 and 2.
Yeah, look, seeing him on a fighter is exciting stuff. We can see him actually start to contest Termac in these trades. Is losing out on that one a bit. Vlad, hard to trade into. Just, like, really not a fun champ to play against. So much sustain and more range than most champs. Now, Urgot, a little okay in the range department there, can fight him on that front. And I'm happy, as you said, to see Bindsy trying to fight in this matchup. Is down significant amount of CS and 2 deaths. None of the kills went to the Vlad, though, but we got some action on the bot side of the map. Vero grabs the Dragon on the Trundle, but a nice 2-man knockup from Zueño. She gets in there and gets it done. Inaz Dog takes out Tomorrow. Oh, Zoinio gets out with the flash at the last second. Does not get executed by the Mailor. Draken has to flash out as well. Bigsby full health, a lot of mana able to go in. Doesn't have the Arcane Shift up yet. Might be able to pick up Vero. Nice by Muscle Mommy trying to body block for the Trundle. Oh, but gets stunned up by the Xerath. That's real dangerous. Falls at the last second. Barrier and flash used. Bigsby picks up the kill. Anyway, the great Bigsby comes up huge in the fight.
Yeah, and that's what you get for being a good teammate, right? Like, you end up giving yourself saying, I'll take this poke, and instead you end up taking a Xerath stun and followed up by just really, really good damage from the side of Divine Order there. And Bigsby doing a really, really good job on this Ezreal. We don't normally see Ezreals in this sort of league just because of how hard that champion is to play well.
Yeah.
But Bigsby's showing that he's got the fingers to pull it off so far.
Yeah, absolutely has the chops. That was a really beautiful team fight from the Ezreal. Now, importantly, Malevolent Rising did get the dragon. Oh, and they're going to cancel Bindsey's back here in the top lane. They are going to dive this Urgot, and is not going to look pretty. Trying his best to get out. Mel going to W for move speed. Pillar of Filth comes through. Wow, and they don't land the root, so Bindsey will escape with his life, but going to get a lot of damage onto the tower. Going to deny a lot of minions. Now, Mel is losing significant amount in the mid lane. I believe dropped a wave for this play, and so to not get the kill is a little bit punishing, but Bindsey's going to feel real bad about this one.
Yeah, at this point, it's like a wave and a half, and a Nazdog, same thing as in game 2, losing your jungle, picking it up over here on the other side, as does not reflect the stun. Bindsey going back in, flashless Urgot, but he wants this fight.
Yeah, TP's in with a Phage, thinks he can maybe take a little bit of an aggressive trade, but again, it's just going to keep losing out to the Vladimir sustain, even with the item advantage he has. Tomorrow, fancy footwork around here, dodging out some of these Xerath skill shots, but is taken quite low, getting harassed in this lane. But once again, we've seen it all 3 games, up a ton of CS at only 7 minutes.
Yeah, and I would...
Does he have the footwork for it? He does have the footwork. Barely lives, dodges just enough, gets hit with one at the end. Ooh, stays for just a second longer. But there's more action. This topside jungle simply never belongs to the blue team. Vero trying his best with the subjugate down onto a Nazdog. Oh, but Turmak is here and he turns the fight around. Nice ultimate in from Bindsey. Will not get the fear onto anyone though. Ezreal comes through, not gonna hit anyone. Turmak, nice flash out to escape from Bindsey. Doctor is here, channeling up some more damage. Tomorrow's teleporting in very slowly. Won't be able to affect this fight at all. Turmak has to run for the hills. Heads up play from Divine Order, grabbing a kill onto the Trundle.
Yeah, and I would really, really like to see this Urgot on his next pack purchase an Executioner's Calling, because that is a lot of healing being done. And Trundle's going to be in the same boat where he's going to be able to heal off of this Mundo a lot. So I want to see that now, because he is winning the initial trades. It's just too much healing from the side of Vladimir, or coming out from Vladimir, for him to be able to capitalize too much on it. And I like that they started these grubs up as soon as they won that little skirmish, because even if you only get 2 of these, you still are getting the feats off of it. And
Yeah, it's still gonna work out. They grabs the 3rd one, doesn't have flash, and will be the sort of sacrificial lamb for the play, but grabbing all 3 grubs is huge for the team. Gonna be really nice for the Urgot on the split push, as we've seen Bindsey like to do. Now Zoinio caught on the recall, taking a little bit of a greed in the tribe bush, but the Urgot did escape, but they can't quite catch the Rakan. Dr. Lowman are going to have to back off here. Bot lane 1v1, just as we've seen it in the other 2 games. These bot laners, actually, the ones left on the island. Top lane been the significantly more interactive role this series, but both of these bot laners totally fine to farm out here. Pretty safe, not going to be much volatility down there in the 1v1.
Yeah, and I think it kind of, as Mundo's going to get caught up here.
Yeah, Nazdog walks in, doesn't have the ult, gets the spell, shield popped immediately, and Trundle is so good at melting through this Mundo, even at this early level without the ultimate available to him. Gonna be able to steal away this Raptor camp as well. And Nazdog's 1 and 4, excuse me, on the Mundo. Not the start he was looking for.
No, it's not, but I mean, he will have the saving grace of the fact that he is a Mundo, and once again, if Divine Order can get this to go to the 35-minute mark, they're going to be really, really hard to deal with. On the other side, though, Muscle Mommy is probably going to outscale Bigsby on the Ezreal. So, you know, I mean, both of these teams have really, really strong scaling into the late game. I just think that Mundo just becomes so impossible to deal with if they can get it to the late game. So I think that's probably the win con for Divine Order on this one.
Yeah, this champ is so insane. 100% win rate at the World Championships this year in the jungle role. By the way, winning in the finals as well. It didn't win the series, but completely stomped. It looked so completely broken in game 3 of the finals that we'll see if an Ozdog can get the work done. Now, the issue is if you fall so far behind, you will just get melted in these team fights. You can sometimes believe you are tankier than you are, especially into a Trundle like this, and especially on a team where, like, you are the main frontline threat. Urgot will be there, but we've seen Bindsy really likes a split push, right? So Bindsy's not at the fight, and Ozdog tries to walk in too early and could just get blown up. We'll see if it happens here. Spell Shield is popped as the dragon is alive. If Malevolent get a second dragon this early on, it is so huge for their game plan, and they have control of the river. They're pushing an Ozdog out. Has the ultimate if he wants to try and contest. Draken taking a bit of poke. They haven't aggroed the dragon yet. They seem a little scared to do so. Nice. Ultimate pop from Xerath. Going to try and poke out tomorrow if he can. Actually doesn't end up landing any of the damage because the one that connects reflected. Nice pillar coming through. Lord Drake doesn't find it. Oh, but the bullet time over the top from Muscle Mummy does so much damage and it just melts the Mundo down. It's exactly what I said. He is just not as tanky as he thinks he is. Tanks the full bullet time and going to give the dragon over to Malevolent Esports Rising.
Yeah, and that's a problem too with the Mundo early on is there's so much health that comes out when you pop your ult, especially when you're at full health, that he just never had the chance to regen it. And really, really good pillar into bullet time there. I like the way that Malevolent played their comp, and now they're looking for a potential dive on this bot lane.
Yeah, that's a pretty slippery bot duo, though. I'm going to imagine it's a little hard to catch Ezreal Rakan out in the tier 2 or in the tier 1 tower, excuse me. I think they would probably get away almost no matter what. Vero always looking to punish, always looking to steal away some camps from an Ozdog. Unfortunately, no camps up to steal. Gonna have to go back to his own jungle and take them away.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, like we were saying prior to the first game, that like this is a time for you to showcase your skills, and I think that like Vero has definitely shown that he knows how to jungle, and this has been a pretty impressive 3-game series from him so far.
Yeah, getting the work done in all 3 games, even in the loss, was pretty effective on the Wukong until those late game team fights. It just seemed like sort of communication errors, and I wouldn't put any of those team fights on him. Doctor now taking some punishment in the mid lane, has the flash available if he wants it, but an Ozdog, nah, has flash, has spell shield, doesn't quite have the ultimate, but probably out of this one pretty safe. That is 4 members of Malevolent up here, and they're getting kind of chunked out by the Xerath. We'll see if they actually can get anything done here. Termac gonna grab the honey fruit and heal back up, but Tomorrow and Vero too low to keep the play going. Once again, these bot laners left on an island, left to farm. Pretty even in that department. Bloodthirster has come through from Muscle Mommy. That is a nice 1-item power spike for her. Rakan in there. Gets the knock up onto Lord Draken, who is charmed as well. So tanky though, and Leona really not taking any damage so far. Vero a bit low as well. Lord Draken flashes out last second. Oh, gets the blast cone just under the execute threshold, and they won't find it. And now Termac in the middle of everyone pops the pool. Draken's still alive, and Termac is bleeding them out. Malevolent Rising pick up 3 kills as Lord Draken with the fancy feet.
How he gets out of there is beyond me. As soon as
so
they
insane.
saw him, they should have turned on him. Bindsy still had his ult up, and she was dead to rights, and that fight could have went the exact opposite way, but a little bit too cautious on this Urgot. Bindsy, you gotta throw that out. Like, I get it's the support, but that was huge. They spent so much trying to get him anyways. You gotta throw that ult out, and you gotta kill that Leona there.
I think the ultimate was on the Leona. They just didn't quite meet the
Vlad.
execute.
Oh,
it was on the Vlad. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say it just didn't meet the threshold or something like that. It could have used some of the more of the Xerath hits onto the Leona as well. You just have to get the kill. I think a little overconfident there. Now, Pillar onto an Ozdog. Doesn't have the flash, doesn't have the ultimate. They might want to take this fight. Bindsy walking up too far. Doctor's here first, but Tomorrow is here as well. Trundle will be the first kill. Termac very strong in this fight, though. Doesn't have the ultimate up Tomorrow. We'll see what he can do. And Ozdog feels very confident to just walk in here, but I don't think he should be. Gonna fall pretty quick to the Mel. Doctor doesn't have, does have the flash available, but uses a double kill to the Mel. We'll see if Tomorrow can pick up the 3rd. I don't think he can, but another win for Malevolent Rising on the top side, and their bot lane's pushing in too.
Yeah, it just seems to me that they're either shell-shocked or something. Like, they're just not playing a very they're just not playing a very good game this time around. I don't know what changed from game 1 to game 2. Maybe that's what it is they're just like a little defeated from game 2. But itemization wise, there's no heal cut. There's a 108 Vladimir. Like, you can't be having this happen. They have to get Executioner's Calling on this Urgot, because I don't know any way that they're going to be able to stay in this or even get back into this, however you want to look at it, because like Malevolent is just charging at them and they just have no answer for this whatsoever at this point.
Yeah, and I was about to say, look at the macro from Malevolent, the way they're moving around the map, getting these objectives. But it's not even macro. They're just so strong in every lane that they can kind of do whatever they want. Like, it's not that it's incredible genius macro that they're taking all of these towers. They're just winning every single lane. The bot lane, debatably not a huge win, but look at the tower damage they've got going on here. There's so much pressure on the rest of the map that they feel so safe to walk up and push into this tower. Now, the third dragon from Malevolent will be up in about 45 seconds. We'll see if Divine Order, Heaven's Gate want to contest. I think they might be feeling desperate enough that they have to contest this third dragon, and may end up saying, look, this is the best chance we're going to get. We're not going to be down any less gold by the next one.
Yeah, and if you look at the vision line too, right? Like, when you're ahead, we always talk about this, like the vision line has to be on point, and Malevolent is doing that. They're moving this vision line up every single time, and like the bullet time is just going to clear this wave. And yeah, they just have no answer for this whatsoever. Zueño sitting down here with Bigsby kind of has to now, because he's level 7. You know, Lord Draken is level 8 on the Leona. Even though they've been roaming so much, they're just doing a much better job of controlling this map. And Ezreal, even though he's 1-0-0 with a Triforce into a Bloodthirster MF, is not going to be able to 1v1. And they're sitting on a ward here, and they're about to get caught out.
Yeah, Spell Shield gets popped by the pillar. Oh my god, and an amazing triple stun comes through for tomorrow. Follows it up with the ultimate, and Zueño just falls like that. And an ultimate, walk it back. We'll see if he can heal up enough. Yeah, it doesn't fall just yet, but Bigsby taken low as well. Doctor is here, but the Herald is summoned up by Vero. He's gonna charge it into their face. He doesn't care. He'll take the tower down. He'll fight him too if he wants. They're gonna grab the third dragon. Tomorrow comes up huge in the play.
Yeah, and outside of not even just tomorrow, there Lord Draken on this Leona with a huge solar flare drop that just locked them all down, and then tomorrow following up with a 3-man root as well. Just really, really, really big play there from Lord Draken and tomorrow, and started off with good vision, as we were talking. Like, they just have they have really, really strong offensive vision, which is obviously what's going to happen when you're opening up the map with taking all these turrets and being so far ahead. I don't know, like, Divine Order, like, I don't know how they're going to be able to come back from this, as Bindsy is just so far behind on this Urgot, and now Draken wants some of this as well.
Yeah, senses blood in the water. Maybe wants to give it over to Vladimir. Can't quite find the Urgot. But this really, like, Fel, to me, this does not look like a 0-6 team. I feel like Malevolent Rising, like, maybe it's the inconsistencies that we saw in game number 1 that have led to this many losses on their schedule, but the way they're playing this game and the last so decisively and mechanically well, especially from the mid lane and the support positions, like, it's hard to believe they haven't won a series.
Yeah, and I mean, it may end up being like, who's on your schedule, like, who are you playing, but no, you're right. Like they're drafting comps that work well together, so they're not getting drafted. They're playing to their compositions. They're moving around the map together, and not just in like a crazy snowball ARAM kind of way. They're really methodically taking this game like piece by piece. Is yeah, it is kind of worrying, or it is kind of like interesting to think, like, how did you guys end up doing this? It's just another great play in Zueño. No matter what you do, yeah, it's just not going to be enough.
Yeah. Vero is in behind them. Yeah, a little bit of a consolation prize. They will get a kill over to the Xerath as tomorrow falls in the bot lane, but Vero, nice wrap around gank. They pop the bullet time right in their faces, and then the bot lane dies. Now they're gonna look and see if they can get the Urgot on the top side. He does have flash available, and Vladimir's not quite close enough.
Oh,
actually just gonna teleport out.
Okay,
yeah,
I thought he was just BMing for a second, but no, teleports out. Okay.
So look, if it's the only way you feel like you can escape it, it does work. It does mean they are going to completely give over this Otacon, though, and the lead will just continue to balloon. 15-7, 3 Drakes to 0, and now Otacon on top of it.
Yeah, and I mean the only saving grace is that a Nasdog smited the grubs in Vero's
Yeah.
face, and that's like the only thing that you could say. But yeah, this is just a complete dismantling. And at this point now, though, you Divine Order just need to say, okay, we just need the turtle. We need to make them come at us. But a Nasdog's gonna get caught out again. But
Yeah,
he does have
aggressive from Drake and goes in with the Zenith Blade. Pops the Ignite onto him early, try and get the heal cut, but he's still healing a lot through that ultimate. And Draken overextends, shut down by the Ezreal in the play, but the ultimate is worn off for a Nazdog, and he will just completely melt, folding over like a piece of paper, even with the Warmogs there. We'll see if they want to push up into this tier 2. They don't feel confident enough to. 1-for-1 for Malevolent Rising, maybe not the play they thought it could be, but still, or excuse me, 1-for-2, the Rakan died.
Yeah, and Zwinya's actually been pretty good on this Rakan. I think he's playing it like decently well enough. I didn't like his early ability starts, but outside of that, like he's been playing really well. Been doing a really good job of just being chaotic. It's just that they're so far ahead on Malevolent Rising that there's no amount of 4-3-4-man charms that you're going to be able to get off that are really going to be able to turn the tides of these fights. And now, I mean, you do have a 303 Xerath, but on the other side, you have an 8-3 Mel. So as well as Doctor is playing on the Xerath, and as well as surprisingly well as Bigsby's playing on this Ezreal, it's just they're so far behind again, and it just seems like Malevolent's able to just knock them around with their wallets and stats.
Yeah, and another example of that right here is they're in onto Doctor. Force the flash with the pillar. And Zuenyu, she gets a nice charm off onto everyone. Tomorrow will pop the W, gets out pretty safely. Dragon not up for another minute, so they're just going to try and take some jungle camp, see if they could steal away the blue buff in Ozdog's face, and they absolutely can. Tomorrow sort of around behind them, and now Bindsy maybe caught out by Termac, taking so much damage as Vlad is so fed, forced to flash. Might not get away. Anyway, yeah, the pool under him just gonna burn him down with the Q, and the fight continues with the bot side jungle. Tomorrow with the ultimate just pops some bullet time over the top. It's not hitting Zuenyo, but it doesn't matter. The auto attack will, and Termac, after getting the solo kill on the top side, he is here. He is flashing in on a Nazdog. They're gonna grab an ace again at 22 minutes this time. I don't think they'll be able to push an end, but they're gonna look for it.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well at this point. I mean, the worst thing that happens is you give them super minions to farm off of, but with the way that Divine Order have been playing this game, I don't think that they're even going to be able to get to that point. Is the only one up is going to be Zuenyo, and she does not do anything, and this is
the game is just going to end.
Quick.
Fell at 23. Wow, Malevolent Esports Rising will claim the victory in this toilet bowl. Their season may not have gone the way they wanted it to, but this series absolutely did. Malevolent Rising proving, look, this season might have been not quite what they wanted, but they can absolutely compete. This is a crazy strong team.
Yeah, I mean, at least they showed it here. I can't say, because I didn't see their other matches. I have no idea how they fell off so hard, because that was actually kind of impressive. Like we were saying during this game, it's like they're drafting good comps. They're playing to their comps. I mean, they threw away game 1, which they should have won that too. But yeah, I have no idea how they're 0-6, because if they play like this in any of these other ones, then like I don't see them losing. Termac on the top lane is really good. Like, playing champions like Ambessa and Riven and making them look like kind of easy, no matter who you're playing against, is like, it's impressive. So, you know, big kudos to them for being able to do this and come out. And good job to, you know, Divine Order for not just giving up. You know, game 1, they were so far behind. I didn't think there was any way they came back, and they did, you know, and they took what was given to them. But Malevolent, they cleaned up their games from game 1 to 2, and then from 2 to 3, they just made it look like easier and easier. So really good job. Seeing tomorrow on the Mel, I see why they were banning it, and Mommy finally getting the MF for the game 3, just icing on the cake. So well played to Malevolent and to Divine Order.
Yeah, nice that Divine Order picked up a win, at least in the series, on their way out of the league. Unfortunate that they will end the season, with 0 wins, but they can have their heads held high. Some really strong players on the team. And Nozdog, complete Smurf performance in game 1, even if game 3 didn't quite go his way. But really, Malevolent Rising just kind of looked like the better team here today. But unfortunately, even with the win, you know, they can walk out feeling good about themselves, but their season still ends here, right? Neither of these teams even close to being able to make playoffs, which should be locked pretty soon if they're not already. I mean, these last two games were fairly quick, and the website won't update quite fast enough, so you all have to check it out later. I'm sure everyone's paying attention to check into the first stream as well, but these playoff standings will be locked in as of tonight, and we will be back next week with round 1 of the playoffs. Group A proving to be really, really strong. If Malevolent Rising is one of the bottom teams in the group, that's going to be a bit scary. I'm excited for playoffs. I know Fel is too, but that's going to be it from
Absolutely.
both of us. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful night.